Whoa. Hello. You clicked this video? Why'd you do that? Now that I made you feel shame, we're here today. What is this we're looking at? So, context to this, this is a translation of an old, well, I mean, I'm going to read it here. But this is old. And this is translated recently by Real. It's called The Do's and Don'ts of Dating Various Girls in Gensokyo. Now, I didn't lie to you. This is basically shipping fan fiction. All right, let's read the little read the little beginning here. All right, so this is one of those streams that you don't really need to watch. You can listen to, because there's nothing I can really put on the screen anyway. So, yeah, podcast stream. It's good, right? Let me read. Hello, Real here. I thought posting this here would be more suitable than the Toho Project's board. Let's talk about the do's and don'ts of dating the various girls in Gensokyo is a thread originally posted to the Toho forum on Atiba by something Saka. I describe it as a series of second-person comedy romance short stories written in the style of a VN guide. The original forum thread has unfortunately been deleted, and most complete archive of that thread I could find has also been nuked. I really regret not archiving that, so I only have incomplete archives to go off of. This is one of the most interesting Toho web novels, if you can call it that, I've read. I'm really excited to share it with a wider community. I'll be posting this in parts, even though most has already been translated, since I'm still not satisfied with some parts. Also because I'm lazy to put everything up at once. It's a lot of text. I also compile everything into a PDF and include a download link here when it's finalized, which he told me it was, and I still don't have a link to it, which is why we're on the website. So the RAWs were obtained from here, and the author's TBA profile hasn't been active since 2021, which is actually a lot later than I expected. Without further ado, let's dive in. All right. All right. Okay. Chot. Yes. So yes, Real. He translates Chinese-based stuff. If you didn't know, he does a lot of translation for Chinese-based stuff. He's responsible for Human Spirit Agency in its entirety. He's helped with games such as Lost Branch of Legend and Mystia's Izakaya. So, his translation is good, is what I'm getting at. So if you're wondering, does this guy got the great? Is this guy's translation accurate? Yes, it should be. I bet we all believe that. All right. Preface: the original post, when by stage. So that's what I mean by his English is really good. Yep, when by stage instead of character. Example, author would write the strangers chapter of every character and then move on to the friends chapter. So I think what he's saying is, like, for example, EOSD, when Rumia, Cherno, Mailing, and, you know, and then when it got all the way to Flandre, it would go back to Rumia and it would enter the next phase. So what he's saying here is he's structuring it. For the convenience, I've decided to sort them into characters. The later chapter character being referenced, that's why. So what he's saying here, like, that basically when you start, you're going to get all of the character right away. But there may be some inconsistencies because the information is going to relate to a previous paragraph from a further character because of the way it's originally structured. So I don't think that's going to be that much of an issue, but who knows? Who knows? We'll see. It might be weird, but context clues. We'll figure it out as we go. Many of the stories here were also never finished, but some were. Rumia and Letty had more chapters to them, Sakuya. However, as I said before, they've been lost to time. So if by any chance anyone reading this has a more complete archive, please let me know. Alright, that's all from me. Everything up here is the author speaking. Now, of course, chat, this is embarrassing. This is extremely embarrassing, in fact. Writing something like this is embarrassing. Reading something like this is not as embarrassing. Reading something like this out loud is embarrassing. So, to make things less tough on my poor soul, I'm going to soften the blow. Oh, the bumps on my hands, my calluses, dude. My grip, I can't open the bottle. Alright, I have with me a bottle of soju. 16.5% alcohol. I'm going to try this right now before I decide if I need to mix it, because I got this specifically got this specifically because it's supposed to go down easy. Smelling it, I already have a feeling that's not gonna happen. Now, I am not alcohol pilled. Yep, that's the words I chose to use there. So I don't handle. I can drink alcohol, but drinking it raw is, I can't really do that, and that's fine. So let's give this a shot. It smells like alcohol. Yeah. Just tastes like shitty water. Okay. It's alright. Plan B. I have Sunny D. I have cup. I have mixture. I'll be right back with Sunny D. Yes, I get the Sunny D. Right back. That is much better. Yes. There's a pretty good amount of alcohol in that. It's a good thing Andrew has Sunny D in the fridge, or I would be in a bad spot. Alright. Alright. See, the problem is, like, I blame a bad gag reflex. But like when alcohol goes down and it's not good, it will make me gag, and I don't want to gag on stream. So, But yeah, I put a good amount in here. I got some front. Tastes more like Sunny than anything, but that's kind of the beauty of the clear stuff, You can slip it in there. I was hoping to get a fruit-based one because, that's already basically pre-mixed, fruity flavor. Should have given that a shot. Alright. Scroll, bitch. Get reading. Here we go. Put on your big boy pants, chat, and get ready. I'm going to read this. Okay? I'm going to read this. This is definitely something that is better to read on your own. Less embarrassing that way. But, it's content. Alright. Target 1. Reimu Hakude. Strangers. Naively believing that Reimu is a woman who only sees money will make for a very unhappy, not to mention costly relationship. That said, if you're already struggling to make ends meet and pay the bills as a person living in the human village, it's probably in your best interest to not even think about dating this girl. Her house is quite a distance from where you live. It's on a mountain, so a regular human like you would need half a day just to get up there. Also, there'll be countless yokai and fairies on the path between, so it'll be quite dangerous. If you want to get to know her, your only choice may just be to wait until she's in the mood to purchase things in the human village and attempt to strike up a conversation with her. What? Hakude Shrine? Never heard of it. If you say that, she'll probably fly into a rage, but it might be a good way to make her notice you. She's a shrine maiden. She won't beat you up just because she feels like it, so speak to your heart's content, as long as it gives her an impression of you. She's surrounded 24/7 by all these amazing people, after all. For an ordinary person like you, this is the only way you'll ever have a place in her heart. Wouldn't you agree? Oh. I get it. You know, chat, have you ever seen The World God Only Knows? It's a series I like a lot. But the premise of the story is basically a dude who's known as... he basically has a reputation of being very good at gal games. And he ends up having to utilize his knowledge of gal games to woo real women. That's a very good series. Highly recommend it. I like The World God Only Knows a lot. So the idea here is suggesting that any what's the word here? A bad impression can be turned into a positive, but it's better to have a strong start. So the idea here is that if you piss her off, you'll stand out, and you can turn that into something better, as opposed to just being a half-hearted. Because as you know, Reimu's personality is one where she is very aloof and doesn't really pay much attention to anyone. So to really stick in her mind off the gate, pissing her off is an effective tactic at doing that. Is it going to be the best tactic? Who's to say? I don't know. World God Only Knows is good. I've watched it and read the entire... Pardon me. I've read the entire series twice. But, I mean, chat, you got any ideas? They are right about this. So this is assuming that you're not John, okay? You are not John Toho here. You are not 6'3", 230 pounds of pure muscle. You're not that. You're just a guy, all right? You're just some guy. So in this situation, you're just an ordinary dude in the human village. So don't focus on money. That's a good one. That's a different character. But they are right. Making the trip to the shrine is dangerous, lengthy, and it might not even be worth it because, you know, she might not even be there or care. And she is surrounded by a lot of big name people. So you need a reason. Here's a reason. Let me give you a reason. Cardio. Uh-oh. What's he talking about? Cardio. You want to know what's good for cardio? Running. What's good for running? Running upstairs. That's right. Go to the shrine every day. Jog to the shrine. Run up the stairs. Say hello. You know? Have a conversation on your cooldown. Be on your way. There's your in. There's your in right there. You know, drop a couple coins to leave a good impression. Not much, you know. You don't have to drop a huge amount, but just, you know, just as a thank you for letting you run on your stairs. So, right? And now you're active, you're healthy, you're you see? You see? That's a good. I think that's good. I think that's good. Hmm? Now, the idea that... Oh, God. Wow. The idea that you always have to pass by countless yokai and fairies is a little, you know, debatable. Because people still go to the Hakurei Shrine. She holds festivals that humans show up to. People do show up to the shrine. It's just... It's not really that common, mostly because her reputation is that of a yokai shrine. Like, her being out of the way also is a problem, and that's been a problem for the Moria Shrine as well, which is why they built the cable car. But the main reason why Reimu has been so unvisited is not so much because of the way to her place, but because her place is always crawling with those that she's supposed to be dealing with. So I think the idea that, like, the worst... Listen, if the worst that you're going to deal with is, like, you're not really going to get attacked. And fairies on the path, they're fairies, man. Fairies don't kill people. Sure, they can be little shitheads, but if you're just running, you're just jogging, they might not even care, you know? And if you're out in the daytime, yokai are less prominent in the middle of the day, right? You're out while the sun's out. They can still be out there, but it's not like you're fucking running around out there in the dark, right? Gym bros don't do cardio. Yeah, what the fuck? Tell me you've never been in a gym. Motherfuckers, gym bros don't do cardio because they're afraid of burning the fat that they're going to turn into muscle. That's why they don't do cardio. There are a lot of people who they pursue bodybuilder muscles. They don't do cardio because they're afraid of losing. They want to convert and they don't want to risk any possible losing. That's true. That is 100% true. Cardio is good. Cardio is good. Yes, cardio is good. Cardio is very healthy. But cardio doesn't... cardio burns. Like cardio burns fat. But they're min-maxing. Bodybuilders are min-maxers. They min-max their muscle mass. Alright, moving on. Target 1. Reimu. Friends. For a girl such as Reimu Hakurei, the way you know she considers you a friend is... Oh, it's you. Yes. Actually. Because that is... It's not a direct acknowledgement per se, but it is an acknowledgement for Reimu that she remembers you. Again, what I said earlier is that Reimu doesn't pay much attention to human or yokai. She's like, everything kind of blends together for her. She's very aloof. So if she actually remembers you to some capacity, that's a good sign. That's a good sign. She's the type to seem lazy on the surface, but is actually a remarkably meticulous person underneath. Becoming friends with someone like her will more than likely take significant effort. Therefore, no matter how far the Hakurei Shrine is, you will have to make a trip or two. In fact, this trip is significant precisely because of the distance and danger. If her shrine was right next to the village, you showing up would just be another Tuesday. That's a good point. That is a good point. I didn't think of that. So that can go back to what we were just talking about the danger of the path. But the fact that it's as far as it is and you're making the effort to go out there. Because Reimu is aware of where she is relative to the human village. And if your ass is coming there every day, then it's like that gesture will have some form of impact. She will understand that. She will think it's weird maybe, but you know... That's pretty good. Okay, alright. Alright, but that's not the case. The shrine is so remote it may as well be next to the edge of the world. Haha, I get it. Because it kind of is. That's why when you're alone, when you alone show up at her doorstep, I'd wager not even Reimu would be able to relaxingly sip the tea in her hands. Not really, I just thought it'd be inappropriate if I didn't visit even once. I mean, you are a shrine maiden and all that. That's John talking. Alright, chat. So, right now, we are John, no H, okay? We are Jon. This is John, alright? And this is the quest to earn that H in John's full name. This is how you become John. You know how you gotta earn your stars? You gotta earn your sea legs? You gotta earn that H in your name. Alright. Where was I? Say it like it was nothing, even more so if you sustained injuries while on the way to the shrine, since it'll be twice as effective. Ah, it's like the kids who, the fucking youngster in Pokemon who's like, dude, bandages are so cool. I got a cut, put a bandage on, makes me look tough. Remember, you're a weak little human. Someone as meager as you going out of your way for her sake, even for a little bit, will always count towards your final victory. I get it. I get it, I get it, I get it. I get it, I get it. I get it. So... what it's saying here, I take a drink. Okay. What did I say? So, you gotta be nonchalant. You know, play it cool. Don't stutter. Don't peepo shy. You gotta play it cool. Even more so if you sustain injuries. Don't. Okay, here's the thing. Here's something not specified, but this is important too. Don't show off the injuries. Okay? Don't be like if you are visibly injured, don't draw attention to it, you know? Don't like fucking like imagine you got like a fucking cut on your arm and you just like shove it in her face like, yeah, I'm tough. I'm tough guy. I don't feel it. I don't even feel that. You know, you don't flaunt it. That's weird. That makes you seem weird, like you enjoy it, you know? You gotta make it seem like they don't bother you because, what was I saying? Don't let it bother you. Don't draw attention to it. But if she can see it, then, you know, more will come from that. Then you just throw it in her face like, yeah, check out my Hello Kitty Band-Aid. That's pretty cool, right? But this is good. I get this. I understand this. I agree with this 95%. Again, it doesn't specify anything regarding what I just said, but I think that's an important distinction to make, is that if you are injured, it doesn't mean show it off, you know? Alright, that's friends. Now we're jumping all the way to lovers 1. Oh boy. Oh boy. Lovers 1. Going from friends to lovers is a leap more difficult than the shocking leap that is goods, currency, goods. I don't know what that means. Also, the better your friendship is with the other person, the harder it is to find an opportunity to move on to the next step. This is why childhood friends are sometimes so hard to conquer, because you're already very close. So close that it doesn't feel like there's a need to move on to the next step. Oh. This is why some couples can go for several years, yet end in an unhappy breakup, because you're more friends than lovers. But when your goal is the latter, but your relationship with the other person is at an impasse where there is no progress being made, the result will be more often than not be disappointment. Well, that was fucking real. Jeez. Damn. Alright. So how exactly do we avoid such an awkward situation? Let me tell you, the key lies in what is called the event. A decisive win it or lose it event. Oh god. Now, the unfortunate truth is that when you make this decision, there's no going back if it doesn't work. That's usually a key factor in these types of plot lines, is that you are going to, for better or worse, completely destroy the current relationship you have with the person. And the fear of that causes complacency. And it causes a lot of dragging on. But, you know, it's, what do I know? What do I know? Now you can more or less visit the Hakone Shrine continually. If your luck is especially good, she might even go to the human village to see you. Oh, that'd be nice. If it's the latter, then how much affection she has for you doesn't need to be said. That's how you conquer someone. You need to pay attention to her various actions and analyze what kind of place you hold in her heart. If she's coming to visit me while she's out shopping, and I am not working part-time at a shop, or I am not an owner of a shop, then that means she wants to see Pog me. Pog me. That's a pretty good sign. However, have you ever seen Casually Explained, Is She Into You? Because I think that video sums up a lot of uncertainties that we men face when it comes to dealing with women. It's simply impossible to tell. Thus, the sign that you can start preparing for the final event is whether or not she's willing to carry and fly you to the Hakone Shrine. Whoa! Wait a minute. I'm like twice her size. To that extent, you first need to make sure whether or not you have a reason to go there, but at this point, you're already friends, so you don't need to come up with something overly elaborate. The shrine seems pretty chill lately. I kind of feel like having a cup of tea there now. I'll pay for the tea, of course. That's the important part. If you say it like that, she'll probably be willing to take you to her shrine if you're in the village. If you want to date someone, the first signal you give them is physical contact. I think this is... Okay, hold on. Now, I'm not going to say you're wrong, because what do I know? But there's a difference between, like physical contact in general and carrying somebody and flying. You know, that's... What? What? Okay, so the goal here with Reimu is basically to have her show up at your place, and you need to drop the hint that you want to go hang out at her place, and also that you'll foot the bill. And if she offers to take you there, like actually like physically take you there, that's how you know you're in. You're in. That's it. You're in. That's how you know you're in, boys. All right, write this down. This will be on the test. Wow. Lovers 2. Piggyback rides on Reimu to the Hakone Shrine. Get on her back. Again, I'm like probably twice her size. If that's the stage you're at, I have to say the affection between you two is already very high. As I said before, it's best not to maintain a friendship where your goal is to become lovers with the other person for too long. When the time comes, you have to test the waters. See how the other person responds, and consider whether or not you want to commit. A common mistake amateurs make is wrongly evaluating the other person's feelings and confessing at an inappropriate time. Even worse is not having a plan for what comes after. Thinking all they have to do is say the words, "I love you," and then it's happily ever after. Whatever you do, never forget that a confession is not something you make lightly. In my opinion, there are roughly 2 types of confessions. A confession made for affection and a confession made for the strategy. The 2 may sound similar, but in reality, they're completely different. The difference is, to put it simply, and I really mean simply, when the confession is made. So it's when, not how, it's when. The former is used when starting or during a strategy. It is used in the effect and cause romance we had previously discussed. When did we discuss that? The latter is used at the end of the strategy and to score the final goal. Thus, they both mean substantially different things. I have no idea what I just read. By probing their affection, you'll get a clear idea of what stage you are in the strategy. Remember to keep a clear head in love, because that's the hardest thing to do when you're a person in love. Although, if there really is someone who can flip your world upside down and make you forget... Where was I? I forgot where I was. Oh shit, I looked away from the screen. Where am I? There. Make you forget what a clear head even is. My advice is to not listen to anyone else's advice. Cut yourself free and go love. I don't know how, but I read the word forget, blinked, opened my eyes, and did not know where in the paragraph I was anymore. Wow. Okay, at this point, testing the waters is necessary. There's many ways to do this, but the method I'll be talking about is comparatively simple. It's called Please Make Me a Bento. I'm going to test the waters right now. Ready? Tested. Indeed, the killing blow is still handmade dishes. Of course, anything handmade can be used to see what the other person thinks of you, but we'll be using food here. Don't look down on bentos. I said don't look down on handmade food, damn it. It's made with nothing but the most precious of ingredients. Well, I for one love my mom's cooking, but that's a little different. Sorry about that. Naturally, she'll be doing the cooking, not you. Why can't I cook for her? If before you've even brought it up, she's already made you one with a beet red face, there's no need to test anything. Just confess to her with confidence. But if she hasn't, just try asking for it one time and see what happens. How should I do that, oh great wise teacher of Reimu? There's some pretty great ingredients around the shrine. If I were the one living here, even if it's just once, I'd love to taste the local delicacies. Say that exact line. Write that down, chat. And if she replies, oh, why don't I cook up something here and bring it to you in the village tomorrow then? That would be the best outcome. However, knowing how not great this lazy shrine maiden is at navigating relationships, I doubt she'll be the one to make the first move, so let's put some more effort into it. Okay. Say, Reimu, could you make me a bento pretty please? I did make one for you before. Here, no matter how you choose to go about it, you need to keep 2 things in mind. 1, don't pour your heart out. Use a conversational, not looking forward to it tone. What? 2, if she really doesn't want to, end it there. Quickly change the topic before what you said leaves too much of an impression on her mind. Oh, that seems kind of... Usually, so not looking forward to it. So you need to make a fucking disinterested, like, Rainbow, can you make me a lunchbox, please? I did make one for you before. She's like, what? And I'm like, what? Anyway, it's nice weather we have in here. uh, Make sure that if she really doesn't want to end it there. Cut. Change the topic. Change the topic. Have a backup topic. Okay? Have a backup topic. In any case, use this event to observe if your affection is enough to reach the ending stage. With her making the bento as the flag, also affection scales with how much thought was put into the bento and how many bandages she has on her hands. Although no one knows if Shrine Maidens have some unnatural healing factor, so this may not apply. Okay. Furthermore, if you're going after a girl who really doesn't know how to cook, you can teach her a recipe or two during your strategy. Remember, everything is in service of the ending. That's why it's better to come fully prepared and corner her as much as possible. Alright. Well, Rainbow can't cook. Rainbow makes food for her banquets and stuff, but she also enjoys when other people make food, especially Sakuya. Sakuya tends to make food for her banquets pretty often, and Sakuya is a very talented cook. Uh, Marissa is one of the chapters of Lotus Eaters is the fact that they didn't think Marissa was capable of cooking because all she did was mushrooms, and she did a good job, but she also used Mioi's sake to like make it taste better. And then we have Tenshi's fucking boiled grass and hardweeds that she made. So she's no cook. Good luck eating that. Tenshi can't cook, but as far as I know, Rainbow has good. She has good alcohol, because apparently alcohol bottles just appear at her shrine sometimes as offerings, and she is capable of cooking. Though the extent of her cooking ability is not really known, just that when she holds like she holds banquets or gatherings, and she is responsible for catering, nobody ever complains about it. Nobody ever gushes, but nobody complains. So yeah. Where am I? Hold on. Hmm. Finn, what to tell her during your confession is not for me to say. All I can say is express how you honestly feel and don't look too desperate. You know, this love story is relatively plain, isn't it? In Gensokyo, or well, in the entire world perhaps, this must be the most ordinary love story there is. Starting out as strangers, getting to know each other as friends, developing feelings for each other, and then closing the tale with a simple confession. Though that could be the start of a new tale, the reason you feel that way, I would guess, is because she's Reibu Hakurai, the center of this entire world. She who stands at the forefront of various incidents, no matter how lazy she looks on the outside, when the world gets dragged into the incident, she'll definitely take to the skies once more. Actually, I just think it's because she's cute, but, uh, whatever. Then how on earth did an ordinary person like you earn a place in her heart and become her significant other because of all the strategies I taught you? See, don't do that. Don't take credit. Don't take credit. I, you don't get, no. Fuck you. I did it. It worked for, shut up. Well, I'll be damned. I didn't know you thought so highly of me. I don't. Fuck you. Such strategies are only put to use when you do treat love like a mission to complete. In other words, they were never related to true love in the first place. The time you spent chatting the day away when the two of you leisurely sipped tea together without a word, when she clutched you tightly in her arms and took you to her shrine, when she gave you medicine as you laid injured in the shrine, when she gave you that bento and you made fun of her cooking. You were truly happy, and so was she. So to tell you the truth, all I did was remind you of what you should do next. The one who made them a reality, the one who really understood her, was you. Because you love her, don't you? So why do you think an ordinary person like yourself was able to get the Shrine Maiden's attention and ultimately become her lover? It can be for no other reason other than the fact that you, beyond a shadow of a doubt, are in love with her. Also because the men around her can probably be counted on one hand. True! So true. The competition is fierce. Hmm. Do you love her? Would you love her even if she was a worm? Hmm? It's a good ending sentence. That's a very good ending sentence. The prospects were low. Limited even. Alright, chat. Well, what you think? That was Rainbow Hakurei. What do you think? On a scale from emote to emote, give your best emote. Give your best emote to illustrate it. Pretty good. I thought it was pretty good. You know, very simple. Surprisingly, like, uh, deliberate writing that's not, like, really super corny. It's not bad. It's pretty good. It's still embarrassing. But I like the scenario it laid out. I do like the scenario it laid out. It seemed pretty believable. I mean, maybe not so much the fact that she fucking pick you up and carry, like, literally fly you to her shrine. I don't know about that one, but the idea of visiting her, all the time is, that's a good one. I like how the ultimate test of the ultimate test is the lunchbox though. Getting fucking airdropped, getting airdropped at her shrine is not as impactful as if she made you a couple rice balls. I don't know, man. I feel like if a girl is willing to fucking carry me 50 feet in the air to her place, like, that's a good enough sign that she wants to be around me. You know, I'm not light. I'm heavy. If she's carrying me, I'm heavy. I'm fucking heavy. Actually, I'm not that heavy. Last I weighed, you know what, chat? Last I weighed myself, I weighed 172 pounds. I'm gonna go weigh myself right now. I'm gonna go tell you how much I weigh right now. This is a great idea. Right in the middle of the stream. Yeah. Okay, something's wrong. Something is extremely wrong. That scale, like, I don't know how many months it's been. That shit said 172, and now it says I weigh 146 pounds. How do I weigh 146 pounds? Isn't that like, wouldn't I be dying if I was 146 pounds? I am 5'11", 146 pounds. Am I dying? What the fuck? Am I going to die? Do I need to eat some McDonald's? That's ridiculous. If that scale is correct, that I lost nearly 30 pounds. How could I have possibly lost 30 pounds? Huh? You can't lose that. There's no way. That doesn't even make sense. That shit is broken. It's broken. Whatever, man. Who cares? Who cares about weight? All right, we're moving on. Where are we? Target 2. Hong Mei-ling. Ooh. Okay, Mei-ling is good because Mei-ling is a friendly lass. So, you know, things might go a little different here. She can kick your ass, but that's okay. She's taller than me too. All right. She's the gatekeeper of the Scarlet Devil Mansion, so you can often see outside the gates. Although if you just walk up and try to start a conversation, you'd probably get beaten up. That's not true. That is not true. I'm like 90% sure that Mei-ling's article in Perfect Memento states that if you go up to Mei-ling and talk to her, she's perfectly fine with just having a conversation. She's not gonna let you in. Hold on, I gotta confirm. Hold on. Gotta confirm. One sec. Perfect Memento in strict sense. Mailing. Alright. Let me see. Yo, human level normal, works gatekeeper, meet humans more as in a Scarlet Devil Mansion. Special at Realm Radix is particularly strong compared, no blind spots, no weak point, given a job. Usually human-like, talk to her on the job, she'll make idle chatter or complain about whatever's on her mind. She may threaten you with words, but as long as you don't try to break through the gate, she will rarely attack. You wouldn't even think the person you're talking to might be human. Right, see? Told ya, right there. Mailing doesn't just indiscriminately attack. But if you try to, as long as you don't try to like fucking break in, she won't have any reason to use force. But you can just casually talk to her if you go up to her. So this what I'm reading right here is off. That won't happen. But we'll see what we're acting on the assumption here. So if you want to approach her, you may have to wait until she's awake. Okay. Here's a couple options. When she wakes up, say it like this. Hold on. So it's already assuming that she's asleep at her post. So already this guide is assuming that Mailing sleeps the majority of her time in front of the gate. So it's already setting a bad standard. It's assuming that this Mailing is a lazy bum. When, as we know, the real Mailing is out there guarding the gate at all times and is very good at her job, and she's a good person. So, anyway, here's a couple options to say when she wakes up. Say it like this. Oh, you're awake. May I know if this is the Scarlet Devil Mansion? Okay, so if you ask that, Mailing is a nice person, so she will just say, yes, it is. But if she wasn't as nice as she is, she would probably say something like, where else would it fucking be, you fucking idiot? You not see the big red fucking house behind me? Huh? Well, what other, huh? But she's not mean. She's good. The other person will surely respond politely if you pretend to be asking for directions. But if that's all you do, it'll be over before you know it. So you need to follow up with questions about the mansion. I heard there was a vampire here. Is that true? I heard the maid inside has perfect proportions. Is that true? I heard that there's a super big library inside. Can I borrow books from it? Okay, we're going to have to back up a little bit. What do you mean maid inside with perfect proportions? What? Asking questions like these lowers your hostility. I don't know. I think that second one would increase it. So she won't put her guard up against you. However, regardless of what you ask, it's better to not ask anything about the gatekeeper herself. Make her wonder, why aren't there any rumors about me? Then the conversation might continue to develop naturally. Ah, yes. Gaslight. Gatekeep, girl boss. No, okay, option 2. Oh, you're awake. You look really cute when you're sleeping. Yeah, right. You can't say that. Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? You're not John. You are John with no H. If you try to say that, you'd be like, "Oh, you're awake. You know, you look really cute when you're sleep." Then you fucking then your fucking fanny pack opens up and your spaghetti goes all over the floor. That's the reality of that situation. You didn't know what you would have the fucking balls to say that to her. No. If you had the balls to say that to her, you wouldn't need the rest of this guide. There's literally nothing left here to read that matters because you've already been able to say something that unbelievably stupid. If you say that, you're guaranteed to be spared from her rising dragon fist for the first minute. I can't say what other moves she might use, though, if she doesn't. Then congratulations, this development may just be an unexpected boom for you. Alright, so basically you only use option 2 if you are handsome. Alright, so chat. So you can use option 1 where you can just try to talk about everyone around her and make her a little jealous, or you can use option 2 where you just assume that everybody wants to date you because you're so fucking attractive. No, I don't think either of these are good decisions. But let's try option 2, all right? Let's put on our best Riz face, you know? Jut out the jaw, suck in the cheekbones, hit him with the angled eyebrow, hit him with the jawline. Basically, Miss Gatekeeper is hard at work every day. She may look like she's sleeping, but she is in fact doing her job properly. You can split your visits over several days if that's what you want to do. You need to be just as patient as she is if you really want to befriend her. Yeah, but you need. Oh, hold on, but what happens after that? So these is what you do when is your first impression is ask a lot of questions or just like fucking approach her and say something real like not like the effectiveness of line 2 is based entirely on how attractive you are. Let's be real. You don't get to say shit like that unless you are attractive. Uh, but then what do you do when you go the next time, right? Do you ask more questions? Or do you just make more, like, empty flirts? Like, you need a reason. You want to know what my reason would be? This is what streamers' reason would be. Teach me martial arts. What? Just, I want to know how to fucking throw a cool kick. Can you show me how to roundhouse someone? That would be awesome. I don't need to know how to channel ki, but man, if I could like throw a kick, that'd be so cool. Can I show me how to do an open palm strike? That would be fucking awesome. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. I would want to know some of her martial arts. She's a martial arts master. And she doesn't get a lot of chances to use her martial arts in Gensokyo because it's all Danmaku-based play. So actually teaching somebody martial arts would be a way for her to do some herself. And, you know, pass on some of her stuff. And it'd be cool. And I would want to learn it because that'd be kind of neat. I want to know how to do a roundhouse kick. I can't get my leg up there. Target 2, mailing friends. Truth be told, becoming friends with her is pretty simple. She's quite the easygoing person. If you keep visiting her every so often and help her kill some time when work gets slow, it's only a matter of time until you're good friends. However, she's still a servant of the Scarlet Devil Mansion, even if she's stuck outside most of the time. The mansion itself is still pretty strict. So if you want to get to know her better, not finding some way to contend with the people inside the mansion just won't do. Especially the mansion's head maid, the cool, elegant servant who commands time itself. The chances of her insta-killing you before you even know it is never zero. Oh, that's great. So that's like, you know, the chances of you getting killed by a cow are extremely low but never zero. It's the same deal with Sakuya. Sakuya could just kill you at any point. You'd never know. Therefore, it's time to employ a little technique called the abandonment play. Used well, this will serve as the killing blow. Okay. I don't know what that means. You're going to explain it to me, I assume. The abandonment play, but this sounds extremely manipulative. So let's hope this goes somewhere that's a little better than that. Hmm? Hmm. Alright. Where am I? Let's assume you visit her on all 7 days of the week and even treat her to your own handmade lunches. That means she more or less views you favorably. Even more so if the lunch you make is to her liking, since whatever you make will definitely be better than whatever the gatekeeper usually eats. You don't know that. You don't know that. Generally try to control how much time you spend with her, not too long, not too short, up until when she says it's about time for her shift to start should do, i.e. when she feels sleepy. Ha 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 ha! Now here comes the important part. On the last day, say something cropped up and you won't be coming for the next few weeks. You can try to guess what's on her mind. You had no business with her in the first place, not like you were related. The only reason you visit her is because you see her as a friend, then that's why she won't think anything of it. Oh sure, what needs to be done after all. Need my help for anything. Then please bear with it and really don't see her for a few weeks. I have to stress that how successful an abandonment play is correlated with how much she misses you. In addition to that, not showing up for a few weeks will also serve to protect you from drawing too much attention from the SDM's folks. What happens next in the best case scenario is that she might assume you had some sort of accident and leave her post to look for you. It's a bit far-fetched, I'll admit, but if she does do that, the world is your oyster. Obviously, you can't hope that such a thing will happen, so after a few weeks, you can start visiting her again. When she sees you again, you'll see it in her eyes that your significance to her will be unlike anything in the weeks before. That's terrible. That is that is terrible. This guy doesn't even deserve the O in his name anymore. This guy's name is now Jin. JN. That's it. It stands for just no. This fucking guy. You just leave. You just tell her I won't be around for a couple weeks. But the concept of time to a yokai is not the same as a human. A couple weeks for a human is not the same for a yokai. For a yokai, it's a couple days. If you actually want to have some fucking impact on a yokai that's long-lived, you need to be gone for months to years. Fucking weeks is a blink of an eye. She's not gonna feel anything. You are comparing a yokai's lifespan to a human's lifespan. You don't deserve Mei Ling. Straight up, if you try any of this advice, you don't deserve this chick. You don't deserve anything. You deserve to actually get hit by a bus. That's what you deserve. Although, maybe not a bus, because then Raisin will be late for school. So, how about a stray bullet? A stray Danmaku bullet. That would be better. You deserve to get shot in the ass for this. Nobody deserves this. This is bullshit. Dude, if you pulled this, because you know that they would know, right? Fucking Remy would know, and then she would be like, hey, Sakuya, can you go check out what's going on? And then Sakuya goes and checks out, and you're just doing the Patrick Star where you're sitting in your fucking chair watching a guy get hit in the head with coconuts doing a hard day's work. But like that, you're not doing anything at all. Your excuse isn't valid. You're literally just fucking not showing up because you're a twat. And then Sakuya will find that out, and then all that information will go to Remilia. And maybe Remilia won't come down and say anything specifically, but then Remilia will be very wary of you to a point where she might actually fucking put you in the hospital. Stupid asshole. This is stupid. This is stupid. Lovers 1. When you're doing an abandonment play on someone, the last stage of the strategy will not be initiated by your own hands, but by the imagination of the other person. And just to reiterate, you need to ensure the other person's impression of you will not fade away in a short span of time, but rather grows even more pronounced and is fermented with time. Also, you need to pretend to accidentally leak your address to her. That'll give her a reason and the motivation to go looking for you. What the fuck do you mean? What do you mean? Man, I'm gonna be gone for a couple weeks, but that P. Sherman 42 Wallaby Way, Sydney, that's where I live, by the way. Oh, man, I'm gonna be there for the next, 3 weeks. Damn. So I won't be here anymore, but, I'll be there. I'll be there, that's where I am. That's, that's where I stay. That's where I'll be. Where am I? Keep in mind, when you stop showing up around her, she won't feel anything in the beginning, but as time goes on, she'll start to imagine lots of things, or even spare the time to practice what to say when she sees you again. Digging for interesting topics in preparation for the next meeting, then, after a long time has passed and with no contact from you, she'll begin to speculate on what happened. These worried speculations about your life will increase with time. Also, this is Gensokyo, where a human could get ganked at every turn. Ganked is not the word I thought you'd use, but I do enjoy a good gank. I do enjoy a good gank. It is a gigantic possibility. That's the natural conclusion she will come to. Thus, when you shall appear before her again is a complicated matter. It must be after the moment she's sure you've been ganked and has decided to go search for you. As gatekeepers, you can't leave her post of her own accord, so what you can expect is for her to use buying groceries for the maid as an excuse to search for you in the human village. This is much more practical, but if she really does leave her post without permission to search for you, there's good news and bad news. Good news is that the next part of the strategy will be trivial. Bad news is that this event could trigger at any point in time. The number one thing to avoid in a strategy is to not knowing how the other person will move. Although, since you chose this plan, you have to accept the risk that comes with it. The risk is that you can't be sure what the other person is doing. So here's a little tip. Actually find something urgent you need to take care of. Something that will keep your hands tied. Since you don't know when she'll come, always having a reason prepared will allow you to continue your strategy whenever it happens. I'm mad. I'm mad. Pro tip. Make sure you actually have something you have to do to necessitate having to disappear for a few weeks. What do you mean that is that's not a pro tip? That's... uh, uh... In a relationship with her, you don't need to do much to increase affection, but rather you need to decide when to act and when to stay put. That is the point behind abandonment. You had liked her from the very beginning, and to make her like you, you need to make her have the epiphany that even when she's leaning against the iron railings not doing anything, her head is still filled with you. That state of mind is what we call love. Oh, is it? Is it? Okay. Lovers too. To tell you the truth, abandonment play is, to me at least, a high-risk, high-reward type of strategy. I won't get into it here, but I do need to make it clear that you need to fulfill certain prerequisites to use this strategy. Number one, you have to be an absolute fucking awful human being. That's the main prerequisite for this strategy, is you have to be a bad person who does not give a shit about the feelings of the person they are interested in. You are... Fuck you. Fuck you. I hate you. There must be some reason for her to not be able to see you whenever she wants to. It could be distance, it could be work, it could be her position, whatever it is. There needs to be a reason she can't see you for a certain amount of time, even if you're the one doing the abandoning. Two, before putting the plan into action, you should already share a certain level of affection with each other. Make sure that your absence reminds her of you, about you. You want to grow closer with time, not be forgotten amidst the humdrum of her duties. To summarize, Hong Mei-ling fits the criteria perfectly. Firstly, her job means she can't leave her post to look for you. Secondly, her job is very dull. Sometimes not a single person for her to speak with the entire day. That means she has an adequate amount of time to think about you. At the very least, she won't forget you due to complicated work, because there is no complicated work. I don't know why you're so loud. The hell am I? So you got an actual job to make sure that when she does come searching for you, she won't find out you did it on purpose. The job must be something you can't get away from, whatever you want. You can choose to become a manager at Suzanon, or even become a gatekeeper for the Hieda family. You can choose to become a manager at Suzanon. Excuse me? You can choose that. Do you know who runs Suzanon? Kozuzu's parents. Are you... What do you mean, become a manager at Suzanon? The store is basically run by their daughter. What are you gonna do there? Now, a gatekeeper at the Hieda family, actually, that one makes sense. That one you could probably do. I'd buy that. But manager at Suzanon? No. No. She's a gatekeeper for the Scarlet Mansion. You're a gatekeeper for the human village. Isn't that poetic? In any case, she's here now. Whether she used buying groceries as an excuse or left her post without permission, she's here, and that's all that matters. In the previous chapter, we'd already discussed if she would come at all. So if you set it up like I told you to, the chances that she will come will be very high. Remember when I said to accidentally leak your address to her in advance? This is where that information comes into play. She'll make a beeline for your house and realize nobody's home. The dust on the windows have piled up, as if you disappeared from thin air. Bear in mind that you functionally won't know that this is happening because your hands really are tied. So things like sweeping your room or creating the illusion that you've gone missing must all be done beforehand. What? I did say that this strategy came with its risks. The risk that you can't know what stage of the strategy you're at, but that's why you got the job, to prevent you from deviating. Therefore, the abandonment play takes effect once again. Something interesting about girls is that their imagination likes to run wild, and they have a tendency to believe whatever they come up with is plausible. They'll start to deduce where you've gone and ultimately come to the conclusion that something unfortunate befell you, probably because this is Gensokyo, such a dangerous place this is. Here, I have a piece of advice for you. Do roomie a stranger route while you're missing, and make sure all your neighbors in the human village know what you're doing. Okay. Hello, sir. Do you know where the person living here has gone? Oh, him? He said he was going to make the village's surroundings safer some time ago. So he went after that yokai that's always enveloped in darkness in the forest. He said something about making her agree not to eat humans. Well, everyone wanted him not to go, but you know, young people, they never listen. How long has he been gone for? Quite some time, actually. Indeed, in order to have such an effect, you should temporarily stay in the forest. That said, following what I laid out in Roomie a Stranger's route. You should be able to stay in the forest for a while with no threat to your life. Furthermore, if you use that time to also do Cheer No Stranger route and become friends with her, you'll be even safer in the forest. She may be bird brain, but she's actually pretty reliable when it comes to a fight. Afterwards, she'll search for you in the forest with a growing sense of unease. At this point, there's no doubt as to what she thinks of you. Even though you haven't done much in her presence, the affection meter just keeps on rising. Yes, this is all because of the abandonment play. You might find it unbelievable, but if you think about it, it's actually perfectly logical. There are many ways to go about conquering her, with this being a more methodical, as well as more challenging strategy among the bunch. When she finally finds you with tears in her eyes, she might hug you, or she might demonstrate Tong Bikwan on you. It doesn't matter. However, don't confess at this moment. This is not the time to confess. Always remember that an abandonment play should not be for the sake of a confession, but for the sake of the strategy. Put simply, this is a process to make her fond of you, and this process was mainly her imagination filling in the blanks. You have to remember that right now, she doesn't know whether or not you love her. All she knows is that through this process, she has fallen in love with you. Now isn't the time to confess just yet. You can't let her know your true intentions. That said, the strategy is more or less complete. All that's left is to find a perfectly normal, ordinary nothing to write home about afternoon, and just like all the times you've visited her before, make a simple confession. At this point, the only thing missing between you two is just those 3 words. You know what those magic 3 words are, chat? Another drink, please. I'll be back. 3 more magic words. Alright. I regret to inform you I have to pee. My name is Gatekeep Girl Boss Gaslight. That's my name. Finn. What to tell her during your confession is not for me to say. You're the one who's in love, aren't you? You could have fooled me. All I can say is tell her how you honestly feel. You know, it does feel like she just fell in love with you on her own, doesn't it? But that's not true at all, and you know it. The moment it dawned on her that she can't live a life without you by her side, well, you know, the very first thing she thinks of when she wakes up, that's what the feeling of love is like. She works as the gatekeeper of the Scarlet Devil Mansion, a monotonous, unassuming job. Yet, because of an ordinary person like you, those days where nobody paid any attention to her became ever so slightly different. She missed it, that somewhat sweet feeling of chatting the day away with you. She had already realized in her thoughts and her dreams that she had fallen for you. So, how in the world did you leave on her an impression so lasting that she would miss you so dearly? How did an ordinary person like you steal her heart and refuse to let go? If I were to guess, it would be because you, beyond a shadow of a doubt, are in love with her. Also because the men around her can probably be counted on one hand. Yes. Alright. Well, chat. Emotes. Emotes. On a scale from emote to emotes. How was that one? Angry. Yeah. Yeah, that one was kind of... That one was kind of gross, I suppose. Like, I don't know, man. It feels really dirty. The whole premise here is like you chat her up for a little bit and then you like fucking disappear and just hope that she assumes that you're like dead. But you like it's different if you actually have to do something, but like the way you're going about this is it's dirty. It's dirty, man. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. That doesn't feel good at all. I don't feel like you deserve anything for this. Rainbows was fine. That one was not good. Mailing didn't deserve it. You don't deserve mailing. Fuck you. Alright. I used more drink. Alright. Ready, boys? Here comes number 3. Cherno! Whoa! Strangers. The other person is an idiot. And romancing an idiot is not an easy task because you can hardly tell the difference between her being her guardian and her lover. In any case, she's a fairy who loves wreaking havoc and playing pranks. Which fairy isn't? If you're heading to the Misty Lake, you should probably buy some snacks like popsicles and such. It'll come in handy. Not another step, human. What's that in your hands? It's a popsicle. Then no matter what she does, using force or otherwise, give it to her. You need to know that a stupid ice fairy can revive N times within a year. Even if she knows how to create ice, she doesn't know how to create fruity popsicles. You'll also find out very soon just what her favorite flavors are. If that doesn't work, then, well, you have snacks. I mean, kids love snacks, right? Who doesn't? Just say hi, offer up everything you have. That's a dangerous line. That is an extremely dangerous line. Oh my god. Oh no. Oh god. Why is it phrased like that? Why? Delicious, come on, give me more. You have any more? If that's what she says, you know your paths are more or less starting to cross. Oh, I need a straight shot for that one. I need a straight shot. I need a straight fucking shot for that one. I tied the broken bottle and it looks like a fish. It's pretty cool. When you agree. You wouldn't know, you can't see it. Alright. Target 3. Friends. Developing a relationship with Cherno is as easy as it is hard because you'll quickly realize there is nothing to develop. You give her food, take her around the human village festivals, taking care of her like you would take care of a child. She's an idiot, and because most pure idiots behave on instinct, when she got to know you, treat you as a friend, all she knows is that you're nice to her, and that she doesn't dislike you. She won't think any more of it, nor does she know what she should be thinking of after this. She's probably not even thinking at all. So, progressing the bond between the two of you will be quite difficult. It will neither be strengthened nor weakened. Alright. Okay, it's time to reflect on yourself for a bit. What kind of romance are you looking for exactly? If you just want to spend every day with her, relying on each other and passing each day in happiness, this is the end of the strategy because you're already at that stage with her. You may be shocked to realize how easy it is to befriend this idiot, but the naivety is precisely what a lot of couples need. Nary a room for doubt. Just love, love, and more love. Sounds nice, doesn't it? But you're not satisfied with that, are you? No, I am. You want her to know what the word love means, and you want her to acknowledge the fact that you're lovers. No, I'm good. Not her friend, and certainly not her guardian. Yes, you want her to understand how it feels to have a relationship beyond being friends. Because if she doesn't even understand what those are, your relationships will never reach the stage of lovers. No, I'm alright. I'm good with being a guardian because that means I can be with Letty instead. That's that's better. That's better. Call me Mom, Pa. Where am I? That's why what you need to do next is not planning how to increase your affection, but rather how to teach her what love means. The moment she understands what it is, she'll naturally come to know what sort of relationship she has with you. We're going to teach Cherna what it means to be lovers. I need more. It's not enough. Oh, the aftertaste. I feel it. I feel it. I'm having a hard time looking forward. You've come this far. I'm sure you've brought her to see a ton of romance movies and dramas. Where? Where are we seeing a movie in Gensokyo? If your house doesn't have a television, you should have brought her to see some stage plays. What do you mean, a television? I thought I lived in the human village. I don't think televisions work in the human village because they don't have any form of technology lines. And also satellites don't work in Gensokyo, so they don't actually get any reception. Which means you would also need a VCR or a DVD player, probably a VCR. Alright, where am I? At least why these, you ask? Because the idiot beside you can't read, which means books are out of the question. Also, books take a lot more time. It's kind of rude to assume that she can't read, dude. Then, does she really understand what love means? Or rather, do you seriously think she doesn't understand? A bit confusing, yes. So let me put it in another way. Cherno may be an idiot, but she's still a girl. As a boy, when we say we like a girl, most will be referring to their shyness or delicateness. Basically, the things that invoke our desire to protect, which we call dare. This is something I want to talk about in detail. He's not wrong. He's not wrong, but let's see where he takes this. First, pure moe girls. Oh boy. People who like them are people who like how cute and pure they are. How they keep stuttering, trying to say the words, I love you, or saying it so quickly it's like an explosion, but will always end up red-faced, teary-eyed, etc., etc. You know what I'm talking about. This is an example of dere. Now for girls, the reason we like them is ultimately because of their gap moe. There's no tender heart underneath their tough exterior, where after making a bento for you, they'll hide their bandaged fingers behind them, beat red, shouting, It's not like I made this for you or anything, baka. Be thankful and eat it already." Then she doesn't have the moeiness of a tsundere. In other words, if she isn't the most stereotypical women imaginable, she's not real. Or I guess, wait, or maybe if she is the most stereotypical woman imaginable, she isn't real. Well, funny how that works, huh? Interesting. Anyway, you know the tsunduru trope? Very common trope. Kind of sucks a lot. Why does it suck? Well, I mean, I guess teach their own. But I think the poster child for the archetype would be Taiga from Toradora. But I don't like Taiga from Toradora because, like, they call her a tsunduru, but she's kind of just a self-destructive asshole. And she just, like, assaults people, and just, like, fucks up her own life and her friends' lives constantly. So she sucks. Taiga sucks. She's sucky. That's the poster child of tsundere, is the most problematic fucker in the entire world. No thanks. Or inferiority complexes. Tsundere? Oh, man. No. Anyway, where am I? Take notes, everyone. What? Where am I? There is no girl on this planet who is all Tsun and no Dere. The tough shell of every Tsun can be cracked, but as every girl is different, every girl must be cracked in a different way. But as long as you pay attention and collect enough information, that even the toughest of girls, even girls who seem almost impossible to approach, are within reach. As long as you can use the appropriate methods, you always have a shot at getting to their true sweet self. Okay, we seem to have veered off topic. What I'm trying to say is Trina is a girl too. She can feel embarrassed like anyone else. Yeah, guys can feel embarrassed too. Example, me, right now, for the last 1 hour of my life. One day it suddenly hits her. She realizes that love is like a ray of sunshine. She can't touch it and she can't eat it. Why? Okay. But if strong enough, it can melt her into a puddle of water. She finally realized what this human, whom she'd always seen as her Oni-chan, whom visits her every day, takes her to eat yummy food by her pretty clothes, and whom always took her to movie for some reason, was trying to do. So now she needs a reason for you to like her. It's normal. The thought process of a girl like her probably looks something like this. He actually likes me. Why does he like me? And then it comes the final event. And the flag for this event is Cherno's disappearance. The rest of the story is either lost or unfinished. Well, yeah, because she disappeared. Did you miss that part? It's literally the last line of the entire story is she disappeared. She's gone. She's gone. There's no more story. Alright. Bye. People, bye. Goodbye. Interlude. A summary by Saka. Okay. I see a... Ha! Keima Katsuragi! Yeah, baby! I had a feeling. Yeah. Alright. A summary by Saka. What the impression is doesn't matter. What matters is leaving an impression itself. Be it a good one or a bad one. You need to make her remember you. A bad impression can be amended through a decisive event, and contrast will solidify a relationship even more. Do you remember what I said earlier with Reimu? How I said the world God only knows, and specifically the idea that a bad impression can be just as effective as a good one as long. That's literally what I said. And here, right here, the fucking author's notes are like, yeah, by the way, like, man, I am so fucking talented. I am so handsome. I could totally pull off mailing option 2 with my absolute knowledge. 2, action must be filled with suspense and not be too strange. You have to make it so that the other person can't easily see through it, leaving room for their imagination. 3, know who your target is. Do not be demanding. Do not be too lazy. Most importantly, the other person know of your intentions. I have not watched The World God Only Knows, so forgive me if I veered off the original quote. You motherfucker. I thought we were kindred spirits for about 3 seconds. And then I lost them. And I gained them back when I read that. You don't even know. You don't even know. You didn't even watch it. You didn't even know the quote. You didn't even... I mean, that's right. Your quote's right. You're not wrong. But you didn't even fucking watch it. Oh my god. Okay. Alright, we can't go on until everybody calms down. Alright? Everybody go to your happy place. Calm. Zen. Unbothered. Flourishing. Okay. I'm ready. Here we go. Hieda no Aku. I will assume you're well aware of the story of this girl. Thus, if you're still adamant on dating her anyways, please steel yourself mentally. A girl like her, regardless of how sweet she looks on the surface, would assuredly not open herself up to anyone easily. Although seeing her is a rather trivial affair by comparison. I mean, she lives in that big house a few streets down from your own house. That said, she's the head of the Hieda family, so you need to have a proper reason for seeing her if you do go knocking on her doors. And even if you do find some excuse to see her, a meeting like this would never lead to love. You need a meeting with impact behind it. If the classic bumping into her on the streets doesn't work, try scaling her walls. Just this once, you'll have to become a thief. Create the Phantom Thief meets Shelter Princess scenario. It doesn't matter your intentions are good or bad. The point is the impression it'll make and how much of an impact it'll leave. Step 1 to wooing Hieda no Aku. Commit a B&E. Commit a B&E. Being bold just this once for a girl like her is worth it, don't you think? That's not the point. It's not about it being worth it. It's about you just committed a crime. In that case, there's several things you can steal, sorted by difficulty. Easy mode is stealing these antique vases and whatnot. Normal mode is stealing those kimonos she keeps around in case. Hard mode is stealing a few of those books she likes to read. For the best effect, you are welcome to try lunatic mode, stealing the Gensokyo Chronicle. Careful not to break it, though. You wouldn't even need to steal it because she sells copies of it at Suzanon. Because it's supposed to be a chronicle is for everybody to read, so it's distributed. You don't need to fucking steal it, you piece of shit. It's distributed to the humans because it's used as a guideline for being careful with. Are you? Hold on. Hold on. You just. I'm calm. I'm calm. Okay, I don't know if she sells it at Suzanon, but she did print it there. But the whole point of the Chronicle is that it's supposed to illustrate how to handle situations with the yokai it's how to deal with yokai for the humans. That's why it's written with the bias that yokai are dangerous and you need to be careful with them because it's designed specifically for that. There's a lot of writer's bias in the Chronicle, which is cool. It makes it more authentic to the world, even if there's some issues in there as a result. But that is not the point. Point is, stealing the Chronicle doesn't, like, there's not even a point to that. because she can just fucking like this is stupid. You're dumb. You're an idiot. Fuck you. How does that make you friends? Oh. At this stage, if you follow my instructions, you've probably been detained by the Hieda family. Yes! Yes, that is actually what would happen. Listen, when I said steal the Gensokyo Chronicle, you were not supposed to actually do it. Seriously, don't touch that. Alright, in any case, you are now staying at the Hieda family estate. The situation's a bit complicated, so take everything I say from now on with a grain of salt. You wanna know something? Okay, I got ready, okay? Listen to your streamer. Okay, so let's take this scenario and let's put it back with Reimu for a second. So let's say you want to go to Reimu house, right? Everybody wants to go to Reimu home, but it's dangerous. So you knock on Akyu door and you go, hello, Miss Hieda, I want to go to Hakure home. But I hear there are dangerous creatures and you have a book written on it. May I look at your book? And then you look at the book and then you go, yes, thank you. And then you go and you come back the next day and you're like, hello, Miss Hieda, there were some creatures not in your book. I would like to ask you some questions about them so I can be careful. And there you go. There's your in. Now you can talk to her about creatures because you're now a human who is actively going outside of the human village and giving her more information and learning more. And that's way better than fucking breaking and entering. All right. Where am I? In any case, you are now staying at the Hieda family estate. The situation's a bit complicated, so take everything I say from now on with a grain of salt. Oh, don't worry! I already was. First, seeing her in person is almost certainly not happening. You're a thief who was caught red-handed. The head of the family has no need to visit you every day. In a few days, someone is going to let the Yama know, and then you'll be a goner, nagged to death by that little brat. Okay. Alright. So, if there ever was a time to act, it would be now. You really think that the fucking Yama is going to come down to the Hieda dungeons because you tried to steal a jar and she's going to yell at you? She actually might. Okay, you know what? Straight up, that's legit. That's actually legit. I've been talking a lot of shit. That's legit. No joke. That's legit. Right here. This is actually one of the things I was thinking of using for the video I made. Right here. Moreover, when a mortal's karma is so bad it can be certain that they go to hell, she will go directly to warn that person during her work break. May even urge the person to better themselves. Down here, number 2. Perhaps be exaggerating the punishment the person will receive. So Eiki does actually use her off time to go and lecture people and try to help them be better. So this is actually legit right here. The Yama might actually show up and be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? She actually could. That's legit. That is legit. So if there was ever a time to act, it would be now. You have to know that you have already left a deep impression on her, be it a bad one or a good one. You have forcefully barged into her world. So what you need to do next is deepen this impression as much as possible and then fix it. Shout at the top of your lungs. Shout. The noise will irritate a servant enough to come shut you up eventually. I'm sorry, but before I die, I want to see the Gensokyo Chronicle. Just one peek is enough. Please let Lady Akyu know. I'm begging you. I'll fucking drag myself out of the Sanzu River and haunt you otherwise. Oh, dude. All you had to do was ask. It's public information for your benefit. It's public information for your benefit. Why do you think... What are you doing? You idiot! You dum-dum! This is not me. This is John with no letters in his name. This is just J. It stands for jackass. That's not me. It's not me. Alright? This is jackass. Fucking idiot. There's no way this will work. There's no way. It doesn't matter whether the servant tells Aku directly. If she does, great. If not, that's fine. Aku herself will surely notice that the servant is keeping something from her when she brings her meals. Ergo, you can shout as many times as you want. This is assuming that Aku will come in contact with this person. Let her know how determined you are to see the Gensokyo Chronicle. Otherwise, you will die for real. Why are you putting yourself in a situation where failure equals death? Are you fucking stupid? Yes. Yes. And then she'll come. Trust me. Trust me, bro. After a couple days of shitting yourself, she'll come. Trust her, she will let you see the Gensokyo Chronicle. But keep in mind, your goal is not to see that history book, but to pine after the person writing said book. That's why you should say something like this. Huh, I see. So you're the person writing the book. It was pretty dark that night, so I didn't get a good look at you. Remember, while you should be holding the book at this moment, don't open it. Right before opening the book, look at her face and then stop. Don't do anything else. just fucking stare at her. Oh, just stare at her. Just drop a fucking shitty one-liner and stare at her after shitting yourself with the servant about wanting to see the book. Let me see the book. I want to see that book. Let me see that book. And then she shows up and you're like, huh, you're pretty cute, huh? Remember, while you should be holding the book at this moment, don't open it. Palm of a tiny hand. I have no idea what her response could be, but what you need to do is meet two conditions. One, try to have her think about stop writing this book and relax outside for a day. Sow that thought into her head and make it take root. Hey, Aku, you know what you should do is you should completely give up 9 generations of work for like a day and come hang out with the guy who broke into your house. You know, that seems like a really good idea. What do you say? You know, you want to come hang out with a bad dude? That's right, you do. Yeah. Yeah. 2, keep the book closed until the very end. Don't read it. Just return it to her. Are you telling me that you like when you asked to see the Gensokyo Chronicle, you were being literal? You didn't even open it. You just looked at the book. You're telling me even look at the You just don't even open the book. You don't even read it. You just hold it in your hand and you just drop a shitty one-liner and you just stare at her. And you just give it back. With that, your life should be out of the danger zone for the time being. She's a kind person when she realizes that you are clearly room temperature IQ. She will realize that she cannot hold a proper trial, and she will send you out to work in the fields for the rest of your life. You fucking idiot. Tears in my eyes. Oh, God. This is stupid. What is this? There's no riz happening here at all. This is no riz. Oh, God. Oh. Oh. Okay. She's a kind... When she realized that you harbor no ill will, she won't let the Yama know. The Yama will know anyway. Also, your actions are perplexing, to say the least. She can't discern your true intentions. She won't decide on what to do with you just yet. You have already become a part of history. She will record you faithfully, accurately, because she too wants to know how the story ends. Now all you have to do is wait. Chat. I'm no romance expert, but man, some of this makes me believe that maybe I could do this, you know? Maybe I could do this. Maybe I would be able to fucking do this. Me with literally zero life experience would be able to write a more convincing scenario here. Okay. Alright. Alright. Lovers 1. Do note that this is the point of no return. Not that the thought ever crossed your mind, of course, since you love her. Just keep walking down this path regardless of what obstacles stand in your way. You should know such strategies are dependent on 3 factors: time, event, and action. You need time to increase affection and an event to affirm your relationship. Put simply, they are a quantitative charge and a qualitative change. Not charge, change. A sufficient quantity of time is required, else you won't be able to trigger the event. The qualitative change is simple logic, really. Strictly speaking, you have no strategy right now, because the time you spent with her and the events you've had with her are both insufficient. I'll say, therefore, you need to take a risk and leave an impression that will power through her defenses. Break into her home again. This is the main idea behind what I've been telling you to do thus far. She's someone who will reincarnate again and again, not your typical definition of long-lived. The system of reincarnation accompanies with it the curse of death and rebirth. To her, every reincarnation means another painful journey in the introspection of life, where the ones she loves and were loved by had already become nothing more than the cold, unfeeling words, a part of history that cannot be turned back. She had already become a machine whose purpose is nothing more than to observe and record the world, alive on the surface, but a hollow husk underneath. The only connection she has to the real world, aside from the history books, are the friends around her. That's heavy, and that's actually kind of real. There's no comedy there. That's just legit. There's a lot of sacrifices that the Hieta line has to make to serve their reincarnative cycle, which is they don't have a long life, and they spend about a century working for the Yamas to then reincarnate. So they're gone for about a generation and a half. So when they reincarnate, anyone that their previous iteration knew is probably past, and they don't really make friends with yokai. So, you know, that's something there as well. So in this case, when you're the 9th generation, you kind of understand how all these practices work and whatnot. So the idea of breaking her out of the shell, that is the acceptance of what her life is from the very start, is tough. So yeah, that's anyway, in that sense, I can't say your words are worthless, but for them to ripples in her heart is nigh impossible, for there was no water in there to begin with. That's why you need to fill it up with water, make her return to being human again, even if it's just for this life. Humans, as long as they still have desires, will live unto eternity. Then once she has thought it through, she will come all alone. She won't give up her current lifestyle for you, nor will she stop recording history for you, but if you stake your own life, you might be able to delay her life's passage, however brief it may be. To most people, delays are not a good thing, but to her it is. So no matter when she comes or what she says, you only have one goal: take her outside and sweep her off her feet. Lovers 2. Before we end our strategy, I'd like to ask you, or rather you should ask yourself, what kind of love do you want? To some people, love is to share equally. To some others, it's an overwhelming desire to possess. To some, it's to wholly devote oneself. Whatever you believe in, I'm here to tell you what sort of romance this will be. To you, this may be something you will remember for the rest of your life, but to her, it may be nothing more than a beautiful painting to stop and admire in the endless journey ahead of her. So I implore you to keep a certain mindset. The mindset that one day when she forgets how you look, she won't. When she can only remember sparse memories of your existence through her own writing, she never forgets anything she's read. I don't know if that counts for faces, actually. Who knows? You will still love her without complaint. Don't expect her to reciprocate you in any way. All you will ask for is that everything you do will be beneficial to her, no matter how small. Can you dedicate your life to somebody like that? This mindset, this love, has nothing in common with an ordinary romance by any means, because she's not an ordinary girl. At least in terms of romantic partners, she's a bit special. And special people require special means. Reminder that you were encouraged to break into her home at the start of this. Anyway. In any case, you're both outside now. You snuck out of the estate together. She doesn't need to sneak out. Taking off that flower she wears on her head may more than suffice as a disguise to let her blend into the crowd. Then you showed her around, just like a romantic couple. You ate snacks together. You played some games together. You even bought a pair of accessories or decorations in matching styles. True to your promise, you let her experience what it's like to live a normal life. You restored a hint of vibrant color to her once lifeless face. And then, do you think this is enough? Is anything ever that simple? What you need to do next is disappear. You are a thief who was caught red-handed, so you begged her to take you outside. Taking her outside to have fun was simply an excuse. Your true goal from the very beginning was to escape the Hieda estate. That is the role you need to play. That's what I meant by leaving an impression no matter the cost. Think about it. You had already lost all faith in life, stopped caring entirely even. Then against all odds, you suddenly think life is worth living again? But at that moment, you realize that person lied to you. In fact, that may not have been his intention at all. What do you think? To create a big enough disparity in her heart, you need to take her high. That means the happier she is on that day, the stronger an effect it will have when you disappear. But okay, I know I've been saying but a lot, but you need to know that this isn't over yet. You need to appear once again. Try to observe her from out of sight. She attempts to take her own life. You will come out to stop her and tell her how you really feel. Though I don't think she will, so you should go a bit earlier, waiting for her at the gates of the estate. When you come back, this is your role. There's a lot of capital assumption in this assumption here. Okay, I lied to you. I'm nothing but a thief, and everything I did was to use you as a means to escape. But how do I put this? When I saw you for the first time, it was like you had already died. But the way you smiled when we went outside was nice, I think. That's what you need to get across. Don't be a jackass about it. How about you go? It's up to you. You're already a fucking jackass, bro. I can't guarantee that this will work, but the point I want to get across is that sometimes a favorable impression is not important. Sometimes you don't have to manufacture a scenario where you have the advantage. Sometimes you just have to hope and to give despair, because it is by contrast and disparity that we experience beauty. But someone who has already lost all emotion will not feel disparity. So you need to give her reality, and then give her hope, and then spread despair. And then, just as she is on the verge of treating reality as despair, give her hope. I believe that, after going through so many ups and downs, even the most unfeeling of people will be touched. What to tell her during your confession is not for me to say, because I have no idea what to say myself. To outsiders, this love may seem unreasonable. However, that's just how human nature is sometimes. Those who feel nothing towards life and have no conscious idea of what love is are incapable of interpreting the signals unless you show them the stick instead of the carrot. Akyu is probably the most extreme example there is of such a person. A young girl who has long lost the light on the path of life, regardless of how many lives she has. She will never grasp her future the same way she grasps the brush in her hand. Then what you need to do is become a piece of extraordinary scenery in her life. Remember that mindset I told you about? Yeah, even if you don't get together in the end, even if she never acknowledges you as her lover, for that one day she was truly alive, and from the bottom of her heart she smiled. And perhaps that's enough for you and for her. Wow, that was kind of sweet, actually. Too bad the beginning was the fucking beginning. There was something beautiful about that end. Actually. There was something beautiful about that end. I will admit. I thought it was quite nice. Alright, chat. On a scale from emote to emote, what'd you think? What do you think? What do you think? Bro, you can't keep typing emote. There's like 400 fucking emotes you can choose from, and you're picking the word emote. You know how lame that is? That's like when you go to the fucking ice cream shop and they have 30 plus tubs and you're like, can I get vanilla with no toppings? That's you right now. You're the vanilla no toppings guy. Not fucking live a little. Live a little. Get chocolate. God damn. Vanilla. Alright. Okay, Chad, are you ready for the next one? You ready? The next one is, it's, the scary lady. This is not gonna work. Okay, alright. Yuka Kazumi. She is a relatively dangerous target. But you're someone who will find love read die horribly no matter the cost, so why not give it a shot? Even just getting to know her is quite hard, because at the end of the day, a human's life will never be as important as the soil beneath her. That's why it'll take a lot of elbow grease if you want to meet her. Firstly, ignore what anyone else tells you. Do not touch her flowers. I know what you're thinking. The get to know her via disrespecting her flowers route is not happening. Maybe you think of her as more dangerous tsundere, but remember that dangerous and tsundere are not mutually exclusive. The two are completely separate concepts. Do not forget that. Therefore, if you want to see her, go with some flowers. Too much time on your hands, human. Why else would you come here? No, but the same can't be said for these flowers if they stay with me. With this, you'll be able to naturally strike up a conversation. Maybe you'll be able to have a normal chat with her if you have to take care of the flowers. She may not value human lives, but she doesn't make a habit out of killing either. So that's it. Like mailing, some patience is required. Sending over a few flowers on the brink of death from time to time, and you're guaranteed to strike up a conversation later. Sooner or later. You know what's actually interesting about that is the idea, if you read that, the idea of giving flowers that are like fucking dying to somebody, the vanity of women, derogatory. They don't want to see dying flowers, but Yuka would actually give a shit about something like that, because she actually likes flowers. She would see the beauty in them. So you don't have to, like, virus. Yep, there's a virus, alright. There's some beauty in that. That actually works. Alright. Friends. Becoming friends with her must have been like pushing a boulder uphill, but you don't have to worry. As long as you don't do anything stupid, your neck will stay firmly attached to your shoulder. She doesn't actually enjoy killing, nor does her diet consist only of humans. So unless you give her a reason, your life won't be in much danger. So let's recap on how you got here. You've been going to her garden almost every day, which is actually a long way from your house. Here, we're using the same strategy we used on Miss Reimu, although it might not be as effective because Yuka won't bat an eye at a dead human, even one she sees every day. To say nothing of one with a few injuries. You won't use your own flowers as an excuse to see her anymore because you realize she won't like someone who can't even take care of his flowers. Therefore, these days, you go there to draw. The flowers here really caught my eye the last time I came here, so I felt like doing some sketching. Don't worry about your drawing skills. Being a bad artist might even work in your favor somehow. What you need to do is not disturb her as much as possible, but still make sure she can see you. For girls like her, chatting or other similar interactions are very dangerous. On the contrary, if you want to leave a sufficiently strong impression on her, you'll need to keep appearing in her field of vision. Note I said appear, not stay. What you need to do is greet her when you swing by, then sketch in a place where you won't be seen as easily. Repeat this for about a week. Afterwards, a sign that you've truly gotten to know each other is her wanting to see your drawings. Since you're coming here every day, human, I think it's about time you show me what you've been scribbling. Yep, that's just how she talks. Don't worry, she's not mad. If you want to build bridges with a queen like her, and you yourself don't possess the strength to match her majesty, what you need is a soft outer shell and a resilient heart. So no worries, just show it to her. If your drawing is childish enough that she unintentionally lets out a laugh, you've more than accomplished your goal. When she sees the last drawing, she'll realize that it's a drawing of her. Yes, you need to make a sketch of her, This is the first all-important sign of your relationship beginning to blossom, and you need to make sure it's seen when she asks to see your drawings. Even better if it's the last one and it's still an unfinished sketch. Alternatively, put this drawing somewhere obvious, and when she asks to see your drawings, don't give it to her. Then let her find out such a drawing exists herself. All in all, the appearance of this drawing must be both dramatic and special. Her reaction, objectively speaking, should be intense. She won't be happy you drew her, or at the very least, she won't express any goodwill towards you. She might get mad. She might despise you, but would you bet your life on it if I said she wouldn't kill you? Now go home. Try to act flustered and leave most of your drawings, including that one, with her. And now, we wait. Okay. Alright. Yay. A successful abandonment play. All roads lead to abandonment. Has two outcomes. Either you look for her or she looks for you. Evidently, the latter will net you more affection, but will also make further developments much smoother. However, getting her to come to the human village specifically for you is pretty much a fantasy. For now, at least. Therefore, the only option is for you to go to her yourself. You won't be going back so brazenly, though, naturally. What you need are some gifts, so go buy a cactus. Here's a piece of advice. The foolish one wins the queen. Play dumb isn't something only girls are good at. Sometimes a man has to do it too. A common pitfall many people fall into is relentlessly acting cool in front of a girl no matter what, thinking that they can get the girl just by showing her their best side. This couldn't be further from reality. Alright, let me lay it out for you one more time. Firstly, forcing yourself to engage in sensational stunts may seem like it attracts a lot of attention, but superficial attention does not an impression make. The world has no shortage of lunatics and bald asses. You may have momentarily become a celebrity to her, but such impressions often don't last. Plus, almost every man tries to turn heads through such acts, so the chances of you succeeding are evidently not much. However, if you accidentally bump into her, or accidentally dump a bucket of water onto her, or accidentally make a faux pas before a crowd that she's in, of course, then trust me when I say that she will most definitely have her eyes on you. I don't mean she's a weirdo or anything, but rather this is a universal human trait, except she's not a human at all. And most importantly, it's a puzzling action. Why do you think trying to impress a girl is so hard? Let me give you an example. When you're chasing after someone in a literal sense, the best way is not to increase your speed, but to not be noticed by her. If your actions are too shallow, too brash, or lack planning, making her certain that you're into her and make her wary of you. She'll begin to doubt and second guess all your actions from now on, and that would in all likelihood not be favorable to your strategy. So, the best case scenario is when you become good friends without her discerning your true intentions, and when she does realize how you truly feel, she'll have realized that she likes you as well. To achieve this perfect ending, you will need to play dumb. I don't have to play, brother. Also, please keep in mind that Yuka is 100% a queen-type character. The moment she finds out you approached her with the goal of dating her is the moment you've made sure you never get to date her for the rest of your life. Instead, you could even be killed in the literal sense. Remember how I said not to let the person you're trying to conquer lead you on? When the other person is a queen, it's very easy for it to become one-sided. To escape the queen's control, aside from being steadfast, you also need to play dumb. So all the sketching and shitty drawings are all a necessary part of playing dumb. Yes, even the portrait of her, and the same applies to the cactus you're holding right now. Why are you back, human, and what are you trying to tell me with that spiky plant there? I was just wondering if maybe I could have my drawings back, and I'm sorry for making you angry, so I got you a flower. Make her laugh. However you do it, just make her laugh. I got you a cactus. Giant barbecues, and we got our very own 10-gallon hats. Mmm. Mmm. The scene makes me sad. Little Busters. I love Little Busters. I love Little Busters, but I don't know anybody who's ever actually fucking played it, so I don't get to talk about it. I don't get to talk about it with anybody in my life. Nobody. Not a single human being, but I played through the entire game twice. But I can't talk about it with anybody. No one's ever fucking played it. Alright, where am I? Number 2. The goal of playing dumb before a queen is to conquer her without intruding upon her pride, without her noticing. A formidable woman will, generally speaking, be interested in the formidable man, but won't choose him as her partner, just like how a prince and princess make a pair, but not a prince and a queen. One should be with the queen, rather, is the butler, the one who arranges the queen's everyday life, silently stands beside her, and sometimes makes small mistakes. But not all butlers will end up as their queen's partner, and that is for one reason alone. They're actually dumb. That's why I only taught you how to play dumb, not actually become mentally challenged. No one likes a dumbass. All the dumbness you've exhibited before the queen was to, in a certain way, actually make your intelligence apparent. Because you're putting on a veil of purity over your impurity, and when you finally show your hand, it'll seem even more overwhelming to her. It is by contrast that we experience beauty. Remember what I said before? No. I once said, when conquering someone, you can't let other person be the one in control, especially when you're unsure whether or not she likes you. For a queen, this is even more important because you will have to be the one to conquer her, and a person who desires to be in control will throw a wrench into your plans. Okay, so it's time to use your head. Here it's time to use your old friend, the abandonment play. Oh, boy! I love the abandonment play! First, allow me to reiterate a prerequisite for this technique. A certain amount of affection. With how much time you spent with her, you can assume it's been fulfilled. So now, you will find an excuse to not go to the garden. You have to be the one to broach the subject to her. I don't think I'll be able to come here for a while starting tomorrow. Oh, is that so? Does it have anything to do with me? Not really, I just wanted to let you know. Then turn around and leave. Well, I guess we can be optimistic just this once. She might ask, what will you be doing when you're back with the other humans, that is? Since I've been coming here a lot to draw lately, and with your guidance, a lot of people have expressed that they would like to see my drawings, so I'm doing an art exhibition. Actually, if you don't mind, I hope to see you there too. That's right, the final decisive event is an art exhibition, a grand activity planned by none other than yourself. Shall draw the curtains on this strategy. You should know that conquering a queen is actually a very simple process. As a queen, her cold demeanor means that people who would be willing to listen to even a single sentence she speaks are few and far between, even more so in Gensokyo. Few men would be able to spend as much time with her as you did. What that means is you're already far from average. All that's left to do is merely hold your art exhibition. Then, just as you had hoped, you will spot a parasol among the crowds, as well as the green-haired girl. Her eyes still as cold as ever holding it. When that time comes, her smile will probably be the proof that your relationship has developed a step further. What to tell her during your confession is not for me to say, because I don't think you even need to confess. In fact, if you do get ahead of yourself and confess to her, she'll more than likely send you to the afterlife. You know, this romance isn't one where you can really see, is it? In terms of a queen, the person most suitable for her actually isn't someone who's anxious to get her hands on her. Rather, it's someone who's willing to stand by her side, be patient, and understand her. If you become such a person, then the queen, to you, would probably be downgraded to a tsundere. Perhaps after this event, the two of you don't become lovers. But like I said before, how successful you are is for you to yourself to decide as to what love means to you. The way I see it, spending time with her every day in the garden, seeing her most genuine smile, listening to her brutally honest thoughts about you, getting a bare bones compliment from her from time to time, maybe an ending like that is best after all. You know what? That one was good. Chat! Score it! Score it! Score! I thought that one was pretty good. I liked it. I thought it was okay. Yeah, I thought it was fine. I don't think it was that bad. Okay. Alright. But you know, I I actually drank all of my stuff. I need to go get more stuff. I'll be right back. What the? What? I left my. Oh, whoa. 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 I'll be right back. Increased the content of the liquid in my cup, and so I could use the rest of the bottle. So the whole bottle is now being yeah. Yes. Okay. Where am I? So the first cup was like I don't know, like I don't know, like a third, and it was like a fourth. Wait, no, it was a fourth and a third. And now I use the rest of the bottle, so it's like half. So it's half drink, half. Oh, ooh. All right. I am not an alcoholic. In fact, I am not good with alcohol at all. So, glorp. Real. Okay, that's all for now. The stories after this are all incomplete lost, so I apologize in advance for the setup with no payoff. They're still very well written, though. I'll upload a batch of stories tomorrow. In the meantime, any feedback or discussion is appreciated. All right. Bromia! First and foremost, your target has an appetite for humans. Please think about what you're doing. Huh? You still want to date her? Oof, you sure are one stubborn individual. I say eager to give it a shot. Okay, sure, you need to know that everything around her is dark, so dark words alone would not be able to describe it. So provided the sun is out and it's bright outside, take a few steps away from the village, you'll notice a big blob of darkness that doesn't look like it belongs there in the forest. Don't worry, be bold and approach her. Not something a normal human would be able to bring themselves to do, admittedly. But to tell you the truth, she can't see anything in that dark mist herself, so here's a surefire way to make sure you don't get eaten and make her more likely to get rid of that darkness to see you. No, I do not mean telling her you're infected with bird flu. You idiot, you heartless monster. All you have to do is shout, "Wait," in a firm and collected voice without shaking like a leaf. Trust me, most people will stop whatever they're doing. While she's a yokai, she's still capable of intelligence. And her IQ is definitely higher than 9, so when she hears the word wait, she will wait for sure. Just trust me, bro. No, don't look at me like that. I'm serious. After that, she might chat with you, or she might wait to see what you wait to see what? Hold on. I didn't read that right. Hold on. After that, she might chat with you, or she might wait to see what you have to say, or she might not have seen you at all because, say it with me, she can't see anything herself. At this point, if she gets rid of her darkness, then all is swell. If she's willing to converse with you, then all is well. If she's waiting to finish saying you to say your piece, and you're oblivious to the fact she's already laid out the knife and fork, then you may start panicking. Does she even know how to use a knife and fork? No. In the worst case scenario, what you need to do is run as fast as you can. Flee the darkness and shout towards it. Trust me, or else this may actually be the end for you. At the end of your day, your life matters above all else. This guy is fucking stupid because the only thing you have to do to, like, talk to Rumia is just slap her in the face with a steak. That's it. Just slap her in the face with a steak like she's a dog, and then she'll eat the steak, and then she'll follow you home. And it's just that easy. It is literally that easy. The only prerequisite is you need to know how to work a grill. You know how to work a grill? Bam. You're fucking locked in. You got her. Got her like a fish on a hook. It's that fucking easy. It's just that easy, bro. It's that simple. Then you can hold barbecues, and then she'll invite her friends, and then you'll be the cool grill dad who grills for all her friends. And then people will be like, man, you grill a good ass steak, and then you'll have many women flock to you because damn, that boy can work a grill. Yep. This is very true, by the way. I think I'm about to okay. Oh. Oh, there's so much more alcohol in it this time. Oh God. Rumia, friends 1. Where's your right hand gone? No hang on, or all those 5 digits that used to be attached to that limb of yours. Fine. If you want to get to this stage, becoming less of a man than you were should probably be par for the course. Bro, she's like 80 pounds. She's like 4'3" and 80 pounds. If she tries to bite me, I can like fucking grab her cheeks and squeeze her. Like, she's not... How? What? Huh? What do you mean? I can pick her up and toss her. I'll hit her with a fucking guinea buster. Kaboom. Ba-bang. She's tiny. She's basically an oversized mosquito. I'll just smack her. Smack her in the fucking head. Don't bite me. You want meat? I'll give you meat. Jesus. Don't fucking bite my arm, idiot. Stupid. Alright, what am I doing? Let's see how you got here first. First, you managed to somehow escape from that darkness. At the end of the day, you actually died in there. Be the end of the road. Game over. A human like you can't respond, so you only get one shot at Danmaku. So make sure you use it at the right moment. Since you're shouting towards her, what else would you shout if not her name? How do you know her name? You read the Gensokyo Chronicle, that's why. Except you didn't, because you didn't read it. After that, say what you have in your mind. Why do you eat humans? There are so many other tasty things in the world. Your goal is simple. Make her say the reason no matter what, no matter the cost. And then if she really doesn't answer you, you should retreat. You can always try again some other time. I can't see, so I can only eat what comes inside. Animals all run away from me. Only humans will come inside. I want to be self-sufficient. So teach her how to farm! I'll teach her how to fucking farm. I'll teach her how to grow corn. I'll teach her how to grow turnips. I'll teach her how to grow cabbage. I'll give her some land. I'll give her a hoe. I'll give her a sickle. And I'll watch her farm grow. It'll be so good. If she says that, then you know you have an opportunity. Of what? Honestly, saying that this girl is a yokai who has only known darkness her entire life is an understatement. Aside from nights with a new moon, that's correct, by the way, with other reasons she finds herself unable to use her ability, darkness has always been a more passive ability to her. Animals instinctively avoid danger, so only humans who lack self-preservation will investigate what they don't know. Yes, when she said she wanted to be self-sufficient, it means she doesn't want to rely on other yokai's aid to survive. Eating humans for a yokai is almost second nature. Common sense to her is to eat clueless humans to survive. Perfectly logical for a yokai. Stop eating people. Stop eating people. That's all it takes. I'll put my foot down and tell her to stop eating people. And then I'll give her a fish. Yes, this is the common sense of Gensokyo. You already knew that. That's why you're confident in living a life with her. Even if you can only meet on new moon nights, what of it? There are several new moons in a year. Then why don't I look for things you can eat? Wait here. I'll be right back. Promise. These words will mark the start of a romance, so embellish it a bit. The reason for not saying it inside the darkness is because, well, firstly, it's dangerous. But secondly, it's even more significant. Look, if you were going to kick the bucket anyways, promising something to the person who's about to kill you is called survival instinct. But if you were just 2 more steps away from escaping yet, instead of fleeing to safety, you promise something to this person, that's called being a fucking badass. No, it's called being a fucking idiot. So put a pin on those missing digits of yours. We'll get to that next time. She didn't bite my goddamn fingers off, dude. She didn't bite my fingers off. I don't want to romance this character, I want to like feed this character grilled meat and then like pick her up and give her a giant swing and then let her go. Watch her fly. But only because I know that she wouldn't be hurt. She wouldn't be hurt if I let her go. That's why. All right? Okay? All right? I'm not trying to fucking toss her like a I don't even know what you call it, the shot put on the chain, you know, the ball, whatever the fuck it is. You know, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. All right, Friends 2. Bye. No, it's like, you know, shot put. With shot put, you push, right? You push a big metal ball, but there's a event where you basically you spin a chain in a circle and you let it go. You launch it, right? I don't know what that's called. A tether ball is it? I don't know if it's called a tether ball. I thought a tether ball is the thing that you it's a ball on a tether and you punch it and you score a point if it wraps all the way around the pole. Hammer throw, but it's not a hammer. Because they did it in SpongeBob with the anchors, right? They threw the anchors, but like, and there's also a Mario Party 3 mini game where you do it with a Bowser. You just spin it around and you toss it for distance. I don't know. There's also an enemy in Mario Superstar Saga, Chain Bro, who does that. He spins it around. Isn't that shot put? No, shot put is when you only have the ball and you put it in the palm of your hand and you push it and you throw it. You don't spin around with a shot put. You just fucking throw it. Like Mii Brawler's neutral special, that's a shot put. You just push the metal ball. Where was I? Right. See that? You've already gotten to the meat of romancing all the other girls on the same standing, yet here you are missing your hand and still just friends with her. Is it worth it? Let me tell you, it is. As a boy, when dating a girl, you should expect the first give before having any ideas on what you'll receive. And in most cases, such a transaction seldom follows what we call the law of equivalent exchange. What you have to offer could be your money, time, or even your own reputation. Don't complain about losing these things because what you will get is love, the best and only thing you could get in return. You guys know that, like, Blade Runner image of Ryan and, you know, just staring up in the purple face? Some days I feel like that. Okay, if you want to conquer her, it is going to cost you. It could literally be a piece of you or even your life. That's what it means to love her, the cost of loving her as a normal human. Last time you said you would find something for her to eat, so this time you brought a ton of snacks and her cooked food. Listen up. What you bring is important. This is a segue into what sorts of food is most effective strategy-wise. First and foremost, the ultimate weapon is snacks, represented by Pocky. Most girls love snacks like these, and unlike regular food, the point is that these snacks is not to eat them, but to create a romantic atmosphere. And most importantly, they're easy to carry and lead into events. If the girl beside you is hungry, or if you intend to treat her to something, channel your inner center 7-Eleven and summon up a bunch of snacks. It's the tried and true method of scoring points. Plus, snacks are also unique in the sense that their numbers are clearly limited, be it chips or chocolate or cheese sticks. They're all very much countable. That means whoever gets the last piece is the winner. This is too complicated for you, so I'll shelf it for now. The other ultimate weapon is handmade food. It doesn't matter if you're a boy or a girl. Handmade food is always guaranteed to score you points with the other person. Even if you're especially clumsy or anything you make is subpar, it'll actually show just how sincere you are. In fact, you can even just give her her McDonald's and never take a step into the kitchen. The point is how you give it to the other person, not what you're giving. Okay, so you got food. All you have to do is put it somewhere near the blob of darkness and shout, "I brought you your food. Come try it." Whoa, you actually delivered. I thought you would be gone for good. At least you don't forget your promises. Take heed. You have two options here. Step out of the darkness and wait until she finishes eating, or stand there next to the snacks and wait for her to come. I dare not say option A will decrease affection, because it really is dangerous in there. But I dare not say option B will make her like you better either, because it really is dangerous in there. That said, if we think about it for a bit, if you run away, that means you yourself aren't certain whether she's interested in you more than she's interested in the food. To put it another way, you're not confident enough in the food you've prepared. However, if you stand beside that pile of food, that means you're certain she'll eat the food that you've brought instead of you. That you're confident enough. Well, okay, you can also do this. Okay, so you know why when we don't really eat predator animals? Because predator animals are muscly. So their meat is kind of tough, and they're gamey, and they're not that good to eat. So you know, lions and bears, like these strong animals, we don't like eating them because they're not that good. So if I just approach her as a very strong man, I will not have tasty meat. That's all. So I'll just, you know, I won't be tasty because I'll be too gamey. Although whether you choose won't affect her for the time being, because she's not sure if you're standing there. She can't see anything herself. Then here you can try to guess her thoughts. No matter how brave he is, he's still human. These humans have all learned to behave lately. Most of them won't come near my darkness willingly anymore. I don't know why he's helped me find food, but even he wouldn't be foolish enough to come into close contact with me. I'm a man-eating yokai after all. Yeah, maybe he's hoping that I'll stop eating humans after this, for me to accept human food and change my preferences. Ha! Humans, they make everything sound sweet on the surface. In the end, it's all for their own benefit. Something like that, so I'm sure you already know what to do, right? Gasp, who's there? The human? What are you doing here? Huh? Well, where else am I supposed to go? Do you know how to open the packaging? Play dumb. That's it. Play the fool until the very end. Animals that aren't muscly are fatty, and you bite them and you go, yummy, juicy. You don't eat a lion. Lions don't. Well, I mean, I would know. I haven't eaten, but I wouldn't eat a lion. But yeah. The number one way to avoid getting eaten by a cannibal is tattoos and muscles. Those are the top two. How to avoid being eaten by another human being is to have tattoos and to be muscly. That way your meat is just awful. Just absolutely fucking 0 Michelin star shit. The rest of the story is like Interlude 2, Target X. Here is an answer to a question I've been asked. Knowing everything we've been through, what sort of person will have the easiest time pulling off the strategy? Well, my two suggestions are be observant and act with intrigue. What sort of person will have the easiest time to pull off a strategy? Well, the guy who is obviously attractive. Duh, idiot. You don't need the rest of the story. The rest of the story is just you keep feeding the dark blob food until eventually and then you stop feeding her food, and then she misses your food, and you have to try and convince her that she actually misses you. That doesn't make sense. No, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. That's wrong. This guy. I mean, well, okay. Well, I mean, I don't really know how to approach this creature romantically, nor am I interested in doing so. But you could definitely domesticate her just by, you know, grilling. You learn how to work a grill. That's all you would need to do. Just give her some grilled meat, and there you go. There you can have a barbecue, and she'll invite her friends, and then there you go. You'll be the grill master. That's all that matters. You'd be surprised how many characters you can just immediately shoot up in reputation with just by feeding them some fucking meat. I'm sure Kagero. Maybe not Kagero. No, Kagero would eat meat for sure, but she's not. It's not like you can just feed her a fucking steak and she'll follow you around like a puppy. But I think depending on how you approach the situation, if it leads to being like, by the way, I cook a mean steak, and then you show her some meat you've prepared, and it's like that. Damn, there you go. I bet Momiji's the same. All right, I just think that being able to work a grill has so many long-term benefits to this fictitious scenario that it's worth learning. Also, just grilling is, I just want to grill, man. Just want to grow. Kagero is interested in meeting people. As we learned from Alternative Facts, I believe it was. Kagero mentions that she's playing games of werewolf type of mafia game to meet people. So that's you're in. You're like, hello, you know, you meet her and you go at a low, and then you can joint organization, so you can cater her events and have a barbecue, and you can help her with her events, and more people will come, and she'll socialize more, and she'll be very appreciative of your efforts, and you'll also socialize more, and then there you go. Dreamer, why don't you write? Why don't you write for this guy? Your ideas are so much better. But nobody said that, but I said that, so that's all that matters. But I think that idea is pretty solid. Actually. All right, let's go to the next one. Target 7, Sanae Kochiya. Now this one, this character is funny to me. You know why? Because I fucking guarantee that some people will be like, I could definitely romance Sanae because I could just talk to her about all the stuff on the outside world and we would totally fucking relate. Yeah, I'm sure you would, because you can totally talk to all the other people on this fucking planet already and totally relate to them. You can't just pull your I'm from outside too and be able. It doesn't work. Especially if you start talking about pop culture shit. God damn it, man. You guys are so foolish. You're so stupid. You're so dumb. So silly. You think you can just hit it off with this pretty woman because you know what a Pikachu is? You think you can just get it with this fucking 3 sizes being, I don't know numbers that accurately project what I'm thinking here, because you know what a Gundam is? That's no. Also, you would be under extreme scrutiny from the frog and the snake, so if you tried anything funny, you would probably find yourself nailed to a fucking umbashira. So, you know, you gotta play it cool, but you also, what the fuck am I saying? I'm saying it's time to drink more. Wow, that, I'm good. I'm gonna try that again. Okay. Remind me, that I owe Andrew a bottle of Sunny D. Which is to say, I owe him like a quart of it, but I'll still buy one because I drank like all of his. Good thing he had it. It actually makes this soju go down real easily. Soju's not even that much alcohol content, but like I said, I'm not an alcoholic. I don't drink very much at all, so it doesn't take very much to get me. But glorp. Okay. Sanae Kochiya. Stranger. The other person is human, a human god even, so as long as you don't literally burn down her shrine in front of her, your life probably won't be in much danger. Don't you feel safer already? Getting to know her is easy. Here's one such way. She often comes to the human village, whether you go shopping or to collect faith and attract devotees. You always see her on unspecific days where you live. Okay, now pay attention. If you simply approach her and join the Moria shrine, you will be no different from the other devotees. Even if she greets you with a smile, she will never notice an ordinary person like you. What you need to do is go where she's doing her recruitment drive or where she's doing her shopping and pretend to be chatting with a good male friend or another female friend. Speak louder to ensure she hears. Friend, have you ever heard of the Moria Shrine? Oh, the one that's always looking for faith? Don't you want to give it a try? I hear they treat their own pretty well. Meh. Like I'll ever get into religion just for that. I'd sooner visit the Hakure Shrine than the Moria Shrine. Just watch me. I'll go in the afternoon, and by night, I'll be living there. Note that you need to express your disdain for the Moria Shrine and your reverence for the Hakure Shrine. Once that's done, you'll see her zooming towards you, her cheeks puffed up, ready to strike up a conversation. She'll approach you for 2 reasons. One, because of your comments regarding the Moria Shrine. But that's actually not the main reason. The main reason is because she's worried for your safety. Yeah, she's a nice person like that. You see, you said you'd go in the afternoon as you were just an ordinary human walking to the Hakode Shrine from the human village right before the sun sets. It's pretty much impossible. You'll be sure to die on the way there. While she is a god, she's still just a girl at the end of the day. What kind of girl like her is confident in her strength? Protecting others becomes second nature to her. When a kind girl like her is confident in her strength, protecting others becomes second nature to her. Using that to its fullest potential could yield great results. The start of the conversation marks the starts of your paths crossing. So you just gotta loudly suggest that you want to go to her competition, and she'll come down and personally get in your business for it. Would she? She might. She seems like that kind of straightforward character. Sometimes Sanai reminds me of Marissa, in the sense that the way Marissa is written, she's kind of like a proxy for the audience, in the sense that whenever characters start talking cryptic bullshit, Marissa's just there to be like, huh? What? What does that mean? Oh, what the fuck are you even saying? Like, she's supposed to be that, like, she asks the questions for the audience. But then Sanai is also kind of just that in personality, where she always just she's the curious one, who, even though her status puts her higher than a regular human, she's not that much different from just a regular girl, right? I mean, she likes robots. It's pretty cool. This guy is a big... This guy is a big fan of bad first impressions and abandonment play. Chat, before we continue, I have to pee. So, I will do that. I'll be back once I stand up and fight my battle. I have returned. You know, I don't really know how loud things pick up on my microphone when I just, like, you know, click to them. Alright. Hold on. I'm trying to put my leg up, and I forgot how to do that. Let me, like, actually pick it up with my hands. Okay, I did it. That's good. Okay, let me get the other one now. Come here. There we go. Okay. Alright. I'm crisscrossed in my chair. Where we at? Friends. Becoming friends with her is relatively simple if I'm being honest. Nevertheless, there's still many particulars you need to take note of that said there's basically zero threat to your life when you date her, which is already worthy of a grand celebration with how rare that is in Gensokyo. I digress. In the beginning, you chose to praise the Hakone Shrine in her face and used her protective instinct to get close to her. Perfectly appropriate. If you're lucky, she'll do everything in her power to make you like the Moria Shrine instead. This seems like the canon strategy from God Only Knows, where she's an idol and then Kama just doesn't pay attention to her. That makes her care more about his opinion, his individual opinion, because of her own insecurities. Anyway, if that truly is her intention, then what you need to do is easy. Whatever you do, do not get sucked. That's pretty easy to do, I think. Into her rhythm. A strategy where you merely follow in the other person's footsteps will become a marathon to nowhere, because from her point of view, her objective is not to become your girlfriend. At least for now, it isn't. So you have to make sure the initiative is firmly in your hands. I have to stress how important this is. Although there's one particular issue here. The other person is a former human, but she's a human from the outside world. In other words, one of the reasons she's close to you is because of your species. Now, keep in mind that being close is not enough to start a romance. The best catalyst for a romance is interest. A girl from the outside world like her will obviously be interested in Gensokyo. The last thing she wants is to be as unremarkable and normal as you are. Ow, okay. Alright, dude. You know what? You want unremarkable? I'm gonna go do 10 push-ups right the fuck now. I'll show you unremarkable. I'll show you 10 big ones right here. Get ready. Watch them. Rate them and wait, boys. Rate them and wait. Bam. 1, 2, 3, 4. Call that unremarkable. Huh? Call that unremarkable. That ain't unremarkable at all. No, I did my workout earlier today. I'm good. I did my workout and immediately took a nap. And then I got up and showered. Well, I mean, I had a protein shake first. You know how it goes. You know how it goes. I raise you 15. Since you want to be a bitch, I'll give you 15. What do you want? Ba-boom. There you go, 15 more. Well, jeez. Oops, I did 20. You ain't shit. You ain't shit. You ain't shit. Come on. Come on. This ain't nothing. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Where was I? What was I reading? Oh, there's one particular issue here. The other person is a former human. He's human for the outside world. In other words, one of the reasons she's close to you is because of your speech. I read that. A girl of the outside world, like her, would always be interested in Gensokyo. Right. Unremarkable and normal as you. Her power as a protective instinct means she wants to protect this world just like the real Shrine Maiden herself. Maybe this is one of the reasons why she and the Hakone Shrine are at odds with each other. She's not someone who likes to lose. So you need to transform yourself into someone who satisfies your curiosity and desire for knowledge. Borrow a few history books from Suzanon. Gensokyo Chronicle Complete Anniversary Edition is a good one. Learning more about Gensokyo's history will probably come in handy a ton. Also, by putting all of her focus in Gensokyo, she's already forgotten much of the outside world. This may be another good opportunity for you to shine. You can make a trip to Korindo since it's pretty much the only place where you can buy up-to-date reading material regarding the outside world. She'll probably be quite surprised when you bring up your knowledge of the outside world during your chats. Regardless of how far away the Moria Shrine is, you need to go sooner or later, but don't worry, going there is nowhere near as perilous as going to the Hakone Shrine. Just take the Kappa bus. The Kappa bus! Oh! The Kappa bus! Oh. No, this is before the... This was written before the cable car was made, obviously. Get off at the 5th stop, the foot of Yokai Mountain. Take the cable car up to the trailhead. Oh, wait, what? The cable car does exist. What the fuck do you mean there's a Kappa bus? Climb the marble stairs and you will be there in around 10 minutes. Chat, have you ever thought... Okay, hold on. Fucking... Hold on. Just, okay, that's fine. What is it? Moria Shrine. This fucking... This right here. This... This is the most pathetic looking thing ever. This is the Moria Shrine from Hiso Tensoku. This is what the Moria Shrine, according to Hiso Tensoku, looks like. Look how unbelievably shitty that is. It's like on a little fucking hill spot with nothing. And then it's just unpaved land. This does not match up to any interpretation of the shrine ever. But this is the only one. It doesn't even, like, Mountain of Faith shows the fucking pathway. Where even is this? It doesn't even make sense. This place doesn't even exist, but this is the Moria Shrine according to Hiso Tensoku. This is the Moria Shrine. Now, here's what I could believe. That this, in actuality, is Suwako's location. Because Suwako has a shrine that's located on the Lake of Suwa, as you see in Puppet Dance performance. However, there's very clearly mountains around the area. There's no water, so it's not on a lakeside. But if this was on a lake, on a little island, it would be perfect. Having that be Suwako's little place would be great. But calling that the main Moria Shrine is fucking pathetic. That's really bad. That's really bad. Really, really bad. Because it's like... Well, that's the real shrine. But like, yeah, look here. This is the Moria Shrine entrance from Mountain of Faith, right? That's stage 5. There's the inner sanctum, which is the extra stage. Looks the same, different colors. Then there's the subterranean animism extra stage where the weather's different. And then there's well, I guess the fucking impossible spell card, whatever she's doing there. But basically, you can see a pathway lined by Umbashira. And then you get here, there's not a single Umbashira to be seen. There's no Umbashira, there's not even a pathway, it's only a shitty staircase. Like, it doesn't even make any sense. The shrine has a sacred tree, an unfinished dream of all living ghosts. Does it? I didn't know that. On! Whoa! On! Alright. How to raise a boring girlfriend. Wait, what? It's a cover song from the anime sung by Megumi Kato's voice actor. Well, fuck, I didn't know that existed. That's pretty cool, actually. I like that show. Alright, where am I? That's why we can't use the same strategy we used on Miss Reimu here. However, unlike the thousands of other devotees, your purpose there is not to pray. What do you mean thousands? You mean more like tens, right? But you're not to pray, but to have a tour of the place. Yokai Mountain has some great scenery, you know, but it is still the mountain of the yokai, so I was just having a picnic with her instead. You probably don't even need to ask, since you can just... I brought a bento for 2 people in case you wanted to go, but seeing how busy you are with shrine work, I think I'm better off going by myself. Yes, don't go out of your way to invite her. It's important for her to come to the I want to go conclusion herself. That's how dating is. Is it? I wouldn't know. Even if you're hoping for the other person to say something, sometimes you have to bury it inside you, throwing away your desire to possess and give her sufficient space. There are some things that she will have to say herself. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know how to talk to women. Every story I have that involves talking to women for an elongated period of time ends with like a bad ending. Well, maybe not a bad ending, but a completely, like, not good ending. Oh, God. Oh, no. Oh. Dating a girl like her might just feel like a high school romance. I'm 28 years old. The kind where you date a girl from another school. Chat, anyone else feeling so fucking relatable right now? Yep. Like you're both students in the same neighborhood. She's the student council president of Moria Prestige Private School. She's serious, hardworking, and because she just recently transferred over, holding her work to the highest standards possible, she's respected and liked by all her fellow students, and boys all lined up having a shot at dating her. Then there's you, a normal student at Human Village Municipal School. Means being ordinary is your biggest trait. Yup, that's me. Human Village Municipal School represent. What's our team mascot? It's we're the Sinsacks. We're the Human Village Sinsacks. Yeah, that's a good fucking name, actually. That's a good name for a team. It's not scientific by any means, but purely looking at your positions, that is indeed the case. That's okay, because I'll just tell her I can bench press 180 pounds, but I can't prove it, and she'll just believe me. And then she'll, like, set up a bench press, and then I'll have to tell her that I was lying. Oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to lie to her. However, you still became friends and even had a picnic together. You also started frequenting the Moria Shrine regularly despite not being a devotee. And when you go there, she sometimes even drops whatever she was doing to come chat with you. Oh, that's the fucking dream, isn't it? That's the dream. That would be nice. Okay, here's the important part. This is the number one mistake newbies make, a fatal pitfall. Always remember this, the time of caution. For caution when things go too smoothly. There are times when you feel like you suddenly become the very best of friends with the person you like, chatting, having fun, the atmosphere is so sweet you could practically squeeze honey out of it, but don't celebrate too early. This is when caution is of the utmost importance because that could just be an illusion orchestrated by your hormones. Oh, no, not my hormones. Some people completely lose their bearings the moment they lay eyes on the person they like, even more so when there's great atmosphere between you two, which just so happens to set up for failure in the future. No matter how friendly you are, don't ever forget that you're still not a couple yet. If you do something inappropriate during this time, then all is lost. Then how do we set this relationship in stone? Well, why not go and confess to her? Yeah, you heard that right. I said go confess to her. Don't misunderstand, though. The strategy doesn't end here. Sometimes your own confession will serve as the base for her to confess to you. That's what you call the effect and cause strategy. Always remember that the strategy should only end when both of you acknowledge feelings for each other. Until then, every confession would just be another part of the strategy. What is the effect and cause strategy? If we assume that you confess because of your feelings, that means the confession is the effect and your feelings are the cause. However, since you've skipped this process and forcefully put the confession, before the horse, then due to how humans are logical by nature, they will search for the cause, her feelings, herself. In other words, before your confession, she'll only see you as a friend, but after your confession, she'll see you as someone who's not just a friend. Provided you really are worth her scrutiny, you still need to be an upstanding person. After using the effect and cause strategy, you two won't have a confession born out of feelings, but rather slowly develop feelings because of the confession. The myriad of events that can happen during a strategy means that there are many ways this can go. So it's quite a unique style of romance. As for how to do this skillfully, there's many variables that need explaining, so we'll talk about that next time. The rest of the story is either lost or unfinished. So in other words, there's no next time. So I guess there's some truth in that, right? Confession kind of lays everything on the table, and it forces the other party to really think about the situation they're in, which can actually lead to the development of feelings, from what I understand based on the many animes that I have watched. Of course, not actually my real life, because that's never happened to me, but that's okay. I watch a lot of anime, so it's like when you major in a different subject and you have like a minor. I have a minor in this subject, and as a very minimal experience, of course, but that's okay. That doesn't matter. I don't care. Don't come to me for dating advice. Not me. I'm the wrong guy. I'm the wrong guy for that. You know what would be great right now? I don't know. Chat, you can't see it, but the taskbar is not even halfway down. Or the scroll bar is not even halfway down. Renosuke. Strangers, are you fucking kidding me? Alright, this one's for you ladies. And gay boys, I guess. Alright. This guy is going to tell me how to romance a guy. If he's actually very good at this, then he has some explaining to do. Alright. The yaoi chapter you guys wanted. I treat my job very seriously. You are a man. You want to date another man. Then, I suppose the shopkeeper at Renosuke Morichika would be the best man in Gensokyo. Fuck yeah, he is. Honestly, the process is more or less the same, even if you're going after the same sex. Well, the important thing is that he's interested in guys. Firstly, you need to ascertain whether the other person swings that way. I'm sure in a big world like Gensokyo, it's very hard to not be straight. You're a bit special, so I won't talk about you. But there's eye-catching, drop-dead gorgeous babe as far as the eye can see here. Not wanting to push one down is not normal. So the chances of him being gay are even lower, as it's not something he'll see much of in the first place. Then what you need to do is simple. You need to make him gay. Alright, we're gonna turn him gay. Alright. What's the best play here? Well, the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to invite him to a game of Mahjong, because as you know, no straight man can actually play Mahjong. It's very important. The better you are at Mahjong, the less intimate feelings you have towards the opposite sex. This is very important. Alright, that's step one. Step two, a lot of alcohol. That's a lot of alcohol. We need a lot of drinks, a lot of douche, a lot of boom, a lot of ba-ba-boom, a lot of ba-ba-ba-ba-boom. And then I'm going to boil spaghetti. I'm going to boil pasta. I'm going to make spaghetti for him. And he's going to be like, what are you doing with that pasta? And I was like, isn't it fascinating how when you take this very straight pasta and you get it nice and hot and it becomes real fluid? And I'll hit him with the euphemism. when he's all hot under the collar, and I'll be like, yeah, and I'm gonna apply my special sauce. I'm gonna get Alfredo sauce. That's the good stuff. Yeah, nice creamy white sauce on his pasta, and spread it all around, and serve him the plate with a big old meatball or two, and let him know that it's all good. Enjoy the spaghetti, my guy. And then we eat our spaghetti, and I go home, and nothing happens because we were friends, and that's all there was to it. Alright, first up is contact. The guy runs a shop, so you can see him very easily. That's why you should go every day. Play into his interests of the outside world and its items, and slowly but surely get to know each other and become friends. It's simple. Really, the other person is unexpectedly friendly and trustworthy, probably because he's not a pure yokai. Now here comes the more technical part, determining top or bottom. Okay. Alright. Why is this like the most important part? Is to figure out whether he gives or receives. Why does it even fucking matter at this stage? What? That doesn't even matter. That doesn't even matter. That doesn't matter. That does not matter. We barely even established a friendship here. We're barely even on like, hey, he didn't even know my fucking name. And I gotta figure out if he wants it from behind or if he wants to give it from, like, oh, what? This guy does not understand. This author of ours has no idea what it means to be gay. Not even remotely. This guy has never once thought of penis in his entire fucking life, and it shows. Oh my god, does it show. Alright, where was I? It's very important. You don't need to do this for turning him gay. Okay, well, they immediately correcting yourself. It may end up that you not even being able to become friends. What? Why can't we be friends? Why does that Why does that impact? What? Why does that impact whether or not we can be friends? As a person who is going to make him gay, you need to be flexible. But the top, well, I mean, I can stand on my shoulders and I can put my legs over my head. I can touch my toes. I'm kind of flexible. I'm not really, but like, I'd say I'm better than the average, but I'm not like, you know, I'm not like a yoga freak, but you know, I'm pretty flexible. Be the top or for the bottom, and the bottom for the top. What? This will depend on how accurately you gauge his personality. Ha, get it? Gauge? Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. Ha! You may be a top or bottom yourself, but you'll unfortunately have to put yourself aside for this one. But you're the top, who's the bottom, could change. The relationship has been affirmed. In fact, you could say change such as this is exactly what makes yaoi fun. I don't know his preferences, but there's no much difference. So you're going terms, and you shouldn't be too hard to find out. Now comes a very important step. Show him a whole new world. This is no simple matter. If be left undone, you'll never be able to end up with him. In other words, if you can't make him accept such a relationship, or at the most basic level make him understand what such a relationship is, let's just say it takes two to tango. As for how to go about it, well, I can't do this anymore. My mind's all over the place. Let's leave this for next time. I need to realign my senses with a healthy dose of Clanad and the world God only knows. I can't risk my future generations on writing posts for a forum thread. Uh-huh. Okay. Okay. Chad, I'm not gay. Now, some of you might post like, sure you aren't, streamer. Sure you aren't. No, I'm not. I'm pretty comfortably not. In fact, it's because I'm so comfortable with my sexuality that I can say shit like this. It doesn't bother me because I know what I like, and it's not men. That doesn't mean I can't acknowledge when a man is attractive, but I'm not gay. I'm the furthest thing from gay you can get, really. But that doesn't mean I can't acknowledge when a guy is handsome. That's called comfort in your sexuality. That's me. Simple man. Simple plan. Alright. Peak form. I don't know, man. Some people just get real, like... They get real, like... sensitive about it, I suppose. I had a coworker who said that before. It's like... It was years ago. I just offhandedly said, like... The dude had a nice ass. And she's like, what are you, gay? And I was like, no, I'm perfectly straight, but he had a nice ass. What, you think you don't look at a girl and see her ass and think, wow, she's got a nice ass? You think that's a fucking gender exclusive thing? If someone has a nice ass, they have a nice ass. It doesn't matter the gender at that point. But some people get so awkward about it. It's like, oh, well, you can't say that about someone who's the same gender as you. Fucking man got a nice ass. Who cares? I want an ass like that. That's a nice ass. He works that shit. All right. Alright, where am I? Letty Whiterock. Target 8. We're target 9. Who's that? I have no idea who you're talking about. Okay, we're ignoring Renosuke. Be prepared for some low temperatures if you date her. But fret not, maybe she's warm on the inside. What do you mean by that exactly? What do you mean by... warm on the inside? I think a little early to be saying shit like this, don't you think? During other seasons, she hibernates in who knows where. So developing a relationship with her may seem very difficult at first. But keep in mind that the less you see her, the more necessary it becomes. The harder it is to see her, the more effective it is. For a hard-to-visit person like her, anything you do could have a potential to leave a deep impression on her. Like I've said time and time again, it doesn't matter if it's a good one or a bad one, the impression always comes first. Here's my plan for dating Letty. Number 1, invest in an industrial strength freezer and put it in my basement. Number 2, convince her to hibernate in my freezer for 3/4 of the entire year so I can visit her all the time. Number 3, profit. All it cost me was an industrial freezer running at all times. Which I'm sure is not that much money at all. Of course. Not even remotely. So on a day that's snowier than usual, wear some thicker clothes. Head to the forest besides the Misty Lake. And before you go, remember to get the lake's local idiot on your side. Your visits will be much more convenient if you manage to befriend that idiot. Despite being a Yuki Ota, she says some unexpectedly good things at taking care of others. So taking good care of that idiot would probably raise her affections for you more quickly. Calling her an idiot 3 times in the span of 3 sentences is not a good look. If you call her an idiot, Letty's probably going to hit you over the head with a fucking block of ice. And you probably deserve it, you piece of shit. Therefore, don't wait until winter to start currying favor with Cherno. Start from the summer. Then when winter comes, she'll be the guiding light on your path to love. Classic strategy. Befriend the daughter to getting good with the mom. Where have I seen this plot before? I haven't. Chat, I read a manga. It's not finished. I forget what it's called. It's about a 30-year-old woman. And she gets confessed to by a 20-year-old man. She's like, wait, what? I thought you liked my daughter. It's actually very sweet. It's only like 30 chapters long right now. It's pretty good, actually. It's exactly the kind of shit that we in this culture of hag love. Except she's not a hag. She's 30 years old, that's my peer. When people say hags, that they're talking about women my age, which is a very weird thing to think about, honestly. Like that's not a hag. That person is within my age gap. Like we would be in school at the same time. That's my peer. That's not a hag. Okay? That's why it's weird. This terminology for older women is weird to me because older women by these terminologies is just people my age. Oh man. Oh, you know what, chat? Actually, that reminded me. I saw someone at work the other day. That I went to school with, junior high, and she's my age, probably a year older, and wow, the things that happen to you when you let yourself go just, it's like you could almost see the same person in them, but you can also see the substance usage on their face. And I was just like, man. Because I don't have a lot of wrinkles on my face. I actually look a lot younger than I actually am. If you saw a picture of me, you would agree. You better fucking bet I would. But no, I was just like, wow, that's a lot of like, that's like the kind of shit that you get hit by when, you know, you smoke and you drink and you have a kid. It's like, we're the same age, but you look 10 years older than me because of all your decisions. You just hurt your body in so many ways. And it's like, oh man, it was just kind of weird to like see, you know, somebody that you knew when you were teenagers, and you see them when you're adults turning 30, and it's like they look so much older than me, but they're not. But they look it, because so many people start smoking cigarettes at like 13. And then they look like fucking prunes by 40, and it's just rough. It's just weird because you only really see older people who are already old and they don't change, but seeing people that you grew up with start looking like that is fucked up, because it's like, I don't look like that, but they do. But it's just it's weird. It's kind of weird. Alright, where was I? So, on a day that's snowier than usual, thicker clothes. Yeah. Therefore, don't wait until winter to start. Yeah. This idiot doesn't remember the path in the first place, of course. Stop calling her an idiot. Stop calling her an idiot. I'm gonna get mad. I'm gonna get mad. I hold on to the belief that men age like wine. So, at some point in my life, I will look so good for my age. Yep, that's the plan. That's the plan, boys. I'll be 29 this year. 29 years of age. What am I going to do for it? I'm going to play Rivals. But we have objectives. Things to do to make life better for the long haul. Assuming I don't just die. Which I don't plan to, but, you know, who knows. I don't plan on dying, but I'd like to do something with my life that I get to do. I'm not talking about like a grand career or anything like that. I don't have any grand ambitions like that, but I'd like to do something that lets me enjoy the life that I live while I have it, right? That's why I like art. That's why I want to continue art more than anything. If there's anything that's going to hopefully stick with me past, 30, 40, it would be drawing pictures. Because that's something you can just do. You can evolve from that as well. It's pretty good. It gives me something to think about, to continue on doing when I'm old and bald and decrepit, right? What does a streamer do when they stop being a streamer and they're no longer able to stream? What do they do? You get a hobby? You can get a hobby, but art is a good hobby. It's a pretty fun one too, even though it's extremely frustrating most of the time. As you know, if you've watched me do any form of art at all, it can be very frustrating, and sometimes it feels like you're just incapable of doing anything. And then some days you do good and you're like, this is great. And then you go the next day and it's not that great. And that's just the life you live. But then sometimes you never even take the plunge at all because you just assume it's always going to be shit from the very start. Now you can say what you want about me. This guy cry, he complain, he beat, he moan, he boo boo baba. You can say whatever you want because it's true. It is true. It is all true. But there's one thing that you can't take away from me, and that is, despite everything, I'm still doing it. I'm still here. I still have my tablet. I still try, even when it doesn't go well. I still try again the next day. I still fucking try. Years. It's been 2 years at this point. Despite it all, and I still try. I have not quit. I have not given up. I am still here. I am still doing it. I am still trying. So say what you want, but I'm still fucking trying. Alright. Alright. Friends. Our strategy this time is one that requires precision. You need to make sure every single step you take is in the right direction because you only have so much time with her. Merely winter of each season. I have to burp. That wasn't that strong. That one was a lot stronger. You remember that bringing that... Stop calling her an idiot. Alright? Stop calling her an idiot. If you call her an idiot, you're just not doing yourself a favor here. Bring that ice fairy with you. You didn't have the desired result because she's not too keen on that dumb, happy-go-lucky girl beside you. That's fine. There's another way to befriend her, your number of visits. Sometimes you don't need to say too many words for a strategy. Sometimes the best strategy is to be seen by a person you want to see. This is a suitable goal for girls who don't really see a lot of people. If there aren't a lot of people within her circle, this will be quite effective. Don't forget that a strategy is the process to make her go from seeing you to seeing you often to wanting to see you, before ultimately going to wanting to be with you. The chemistry that happens when you two see each other is of key importance. You know, that's quite a jump, right? That's quite a jump. From fucking seeing you to wanting to be with you. That doesn't just happen. I mean, well, maybe it does. Oh. Alright, what was I? Sometimes you don't need to say too many words for a strategy. Sometimes the best strategy is to be seen by the person you want to see. This is suitable for girls... Oh, wait, I just read that. So when winter comes, you'll essentially be spending every day in the forest. Evidently, you need an excuse to go and stay there every day, which helping the villagers not get lost on the winter roads will serve nicely. Moreover, that means your relationship with her will be slightly more nuanced. She's the Yuki-onna who terrifies people during winter, and you're the human who's protecting others from danger. Most people wouldn't put themselves on the opposite side of the person they're trying to conquer, but that's precisely what I'm telling you to do. If you want to leave a deep impression on her, you need to use your human body and stand up to the yokai. This is a shortcut, be it as a friend or as an enemy. At the end of the day, you're still forged unshakable bond, and for a yokai who was never quite friendly in the first place, being the latter is much easier. Note that I'm not telling you to actually risk your neck. Danger... This would be an understatement. She has the ability to cause snow-related incidents. Your one saving grace is that she doesn't derive pleasure from it, so her heart is ever so slightly warmer than her surroundings. Now, I suggest just building a wooden cabin in the forest of magic at this point. Finish it before winter comes and be on good terms with the yokai around the vicinity so you don't have unexpected accidents. Get ready for the last stage of the strategy. Step 1, befriend Letty. Step 2, build a fucking cabin in the woods. Alright. Letty would not attract me until she put on her pants. And then I'd be like, holy shit. But like actually. Is that superficial? Yes. But it's true. Letty dresses very poorly, but when she dresses nicely, you realize that she's actually a very attractive woman. Hmm. Hmm. And this dude says he's a huge lover. Who said that? Me? I didn't say that. I didn't say anything like that. I literally said nothing like that. I said that when people say they love hags, the hags they're referring to are just people my age. That's what they're referring to. Those are my peers. I never call myself a hag lover. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that people that do call themselves that are just referring to women my age. Which is weird because then look at it from my perspective, where it's like that woman is 21 years old. I am 28. So the further I go, the worse it gets for me. You see the problem here? I can't be a hag lover, because a hag lover for me would be in their 40s. But then if I was interested in somebody who's like 8 years younger than me, that causes problems too. It shouldn't, but it does. I can't win. I can't win. I'm at a delicate age where you need to be very careful what you say to me because it will make me cry. Where was I? Lovers 1. Conquering someone doesn't mean doing everything in your power to gain favor with them. That sort of thinking is too shallow. If you think that the error lies in the word gain favor, you'd be correct, because if you can't genuinely be nice to someone, then no strategy in the world can help you. But what I want to get across is whether you're gaining favor or genuinely being nice to her. Doing so under the wrong conditions or when it's not helping the strategy is incorrect. In other words, in order to increase her affection, in order to reach the good ending, actions that seem completely unrelated to the person you like are still allowed. For example, being at odds with the person you like. A common mistake amateurs make is to conquer for the sake of conquering. Basically, they're too hasty to reach the lover stage. The most effective method, should be the most effective method, however, should be the most appropriate, and this method isn't the one that's becoming lovers as the goal from the get-go, but with starting a relationship as the goal. I have a new goal. I got a goal. Mm. 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 Oh. The stronger your relationship is, the easier it is to solidify the connection between you two. Know that as strong the connection is oh, sorry. Take this seriously. What was I? How strong this connection is unrelated to the nature of the relationship, good or bad. Think of a good relationship as a positive number and a bad relationship as a negative number, but how close you are as an absolute value. And your chances of success for turning this relationship into love depends on how big this of absolute value is. So I read that, but I didn't understand any of it. Of course, the special event will be the deciding factor. Events are usually something that happens by chance rather than something you seek out directly. But we can't just sit around and wait for an event to happen, especially when you realize that your strength as a human alone won't let you stay in the forest of magic during winter for too long. If it continues, you'll either freeze to death or winter will end, leaving you to try again next year. So, as the newfound guardian of the forest, it's time to make a risky bet with your life. Before you do this, you need to make sure you already come face to face with her, having stopped other humans from entering the forest. Do your job to the best of your ability and be certain that she really does feel like you two are on the opposite sides. What she views you as is a human that can be annoying at times, but I have no need to care about, as he poses no threat to me. Keep in mind that she is a Yuki-onna, a very high-level classic yokai. She doesn't have a habit of killing, which is the reason I agreed, and the prerequisite for me to agree to let a person like you try to date her. Otherwise, if she really were someone who starts attacking without even saying a word, I wouldn't just let you go and throw away your life. Also, she's highly intelligent, so she understands your actions to protect your own kind. Even if you are acting against her, she won't be the one who strikes first. She won't see you as a threat, and she'll have to dispose of. So if you really are dumb enough that you'd pass out in the snow for the sake of protecting your own kind, would you bet your life that she would look for you, and not because she plans on turning you into a snowman? The rest of the story is lost, which is a shame because this is still one of the most interesting Letty stories I've read, because everyone forgets she exists, so there aren't many stories about her in the first place. Absolute value is basically a number, but always positive. 1 equals 1, and negative 1 equals 1. Uh-huh. Yep. That registered. Chad, I have to pee. I will be right back with more reading. feel in my legs the heaviness of the fact that I was squatting with 50 pounds. But that's okay. He could end for today with this next one. His delirious, I don't know what absolute value is. I don't know what absolute value is if I'm sober. You know why? It's because I'm not smart. But that's okay. I have grown beyond the need for intelligence. I am not very smart. I know this. I understand this. But that's fine with me. Sometimes my lack of intelligence bothers me when it directly intervenes with me wanting to do something. That much is for sure. If anything, I just don't like when people are very adamant about convincing you they're smart, because they're mostly just fucking annoying. It's like I have to let everybody know how smart I am by constantly correcting people. And then even when I'm wrong, I just don't acknowledge it, and I just correct them again after. That's my favorite. That's my favorite, when the people who just their whole existence is just correcting people, and then they're wrong, and they don't even acknowledge they're wrong. They just slip away from the conversation, and they just do it somewhere else. It's great. Fucking love those people. That's why I like my friend, my buddy. Love the guy. Very smart guy. Engineering, physicist, mathematician. Dude's very fucking smart. But then he comes over and we watch anime, eat pizza, and he's a fucking goofball. He's like, you wouldn't even know. Like, he'll tell you what he does, and it's like, holy shit. But then you hang out with him, and it's like he doesn't feel the need to prove that he's smart all the fucking time. I like that guy. He's great. But some people are so insecure about their intelligence that they have to be the smartest guy in the room all the time. Not me. I'm a fucking idiot, but that's okay. That's all right. It only bothers me when it directly affects me learning something I want to do. But otherwise, I'm not gonna build a rocket. That's all right. I'm not the guy who builds a rocket. But that's why I like streamers like Ellie. Ellie Minibot, the VTuber. Because she is actually genuinely very fucking smart. And then she talks about building robots and all the parts that go into it. And I'm like, I don't understand a word you're saying. But the fact that she knows all this and can utilize it to actually build a robot is so fucking cool. That is the coolest shit. Even if I don't understand like half of what she's saying, I just think it's so cool that she could build robots. That's all. Alright. I have a mud shake, by the way, which is this is 5% alcohol volume. It's not much. It's mostly just a nice drink, Alright. Okay. Alright. So, okay, actually, I want to talk about this for a little bit. That's my streamer. Never fucking getting to the point, just talking. So, this Letty one is weird to me, because the idea is that you're positioning yourself somewhere where you are antagonistic to her existence, and that's supposed to turn into a positive relationship with her. I don't really get it. I don't really get where do you take the opportunity to actually interact with her, because it seems like most times you see her, it's because you're actively helping people avoid her. So you never have a time. But if people find out that you're actually on good terms with her, then it makes them not trust you, because it seems like the whole thing is a scam. So I think this whole experience is a little backwards. That's right, I was paying attention. You may think I'm not paying attention to what I'm reading, but contrary to the fact, this is something that I actually give a shit about, because what kind of guy would I be if I didn't fantasize about romantic relations with fictional characters? Is that embarrassing to admit? That's why I've drunken as much alcohol as I have, because that's the kind of thing that's hard to admit when you're sober. But it's true. I'm not going to say everybody does it, but I think most of us have done this before. You want a relationship that's natural and doesn't feel forced. It's hard sometimes because in your own head you just assume that everything you say will go over perfectly reasonably, and you'll be, it'll work. But what makes stories interesting is, watching characters interact and having them come conflicts with what they believe with each other, more than just assuming that if this dude says this, the girl will be head over heels with him because that's how we wish the world worked. That's not how the world works. But yeah, creative writing is probably one of the hardest things to do in terms of just the sheer embarrassment of doing it, because it's hard to show people your work, especially if you write romance. So yeah, but the thing is, the irony of that is that the romance stuff is something, I think it's the most common thing that we think of with these characters, but it's simultaneously the hardest to really pursue because our feelings of shame and embarrassment towards it are strong, and that can affect your writing, how far, I don't want to read your fucking, I don't want to read your fucking, I don't want to read that, but like, you can write a good, reasonable plot, I think, but it's hard to want to do that. Also, Toho has a reputation of more same-sex shipping than anything, so there's that as well, but you can still write stuff. I've read plenty of Yuri Dojins, because I had made the shipping video. There's a lot of very simple, cutesy stuff. There's some stuff that's a little more serious. There's a really good one that actually I recommend with Yukari and Yuko. That's 3 volumes long. That one I really liked. It was the idea that Yukari was really close to Yuko before she died, but because Yuko as a ghost she doesn't have memories of her life, she always feels like there's something off about the way Yukari treats her, because Yukari is treating her like she's the person she was before, but Yuko doesn't really like that because she doesn't feel like Yukari is treating her as the person she is now. And they have like a real character story to that. Yukari's interactions with Yuko before she died, and then how like her fear and how she felt basically by Yuko taking her own life, and how she holds Yuko current at like an arm's length and treats her as if she is somebody else. But because Yuko is not that person anymore to her, she doesn't know memory of it, she doesn't want that. It's really good. It's a really good, if you got like 30 minutes to burn and you like those characters, I would recommend it. The art's good, the story is fascinating. It's not like super unique, mind you, but I just like the idea that, because Fantasy Maiden Wars actually kind of touched on it a little bit as well. The idea that like the way Yukari treats Yuko is related to how Yukari knew Yuko before she died, and it feels like there's this distance between the two of them, because Yukari still sees Yuko as the person she was before she died, but Yuko has no memory of that, so to her relationship with Yukari is not like natural, I suppose is the way to say it. Like her relationship with Yukari is it's stunted in a weird way, because of the way Yukari feels about her is directly related to a person that Yuko no longer is and has no memory of. What's its name? I will give it to you in a second. It's actually really easy to find if I just go to Dynasty. Oh, that's a... Ooh, okay. Can't show that search bar. That's a lot of bad words that you can't see on stream. Oh, oh boy. I love when search bars cookies extend to different websites, so things that you search in one place are in other places that aren't good to see. Well, I mean, you shouldn't see them. I think I got it. Is this the right one? Yes, it is. This is the one. It's called 2 by this side, 3 by the other side. And the first 2 chapters, the third chapter is very long, but yes, it's very good. Wait, this... Oh, this artist has other things. Ooh, an Alice one? Oh, what do you mean former part, middle part? There's no end part. Introspective. The young girl and the little girl in the forest. You know what? I might have to check some of these out later. I'm gonna bookmark this. Yuri Dojins are pretty good. Legitimately, they're pretty good. Because they were made with the intent of just characterization and interesting character relationships that I think it doesn't really matter that the same sex, if that makes sense. Like, it doesn't like their gender doesn't matter to the story being told. The fact that they're both women doesn't matter. If you made the characters one guy, one girl, or two guys, the fact is that the story itself is what's carrying the uniqueness and interest of it. Those are the stories that I enjoy reading. But I also like looking at art that is just nice to look at in general, right? We're reading Yuri Dojin on his own, huh? No, I read this for the shipping video. For the shipping video, I made it a point, except for Reimu and Marissa, and like Marissa and Alice, because they had like 9 pages of dojins. I read pretty much every shipping dojin that I could realistically read in English for the pair to accurately describe tropes to them and give examples throughout the video, which I did. Also, hold on. Where is it at? Did I lose that image? I think I lost that image. Oh, what was his name? Fuck. What was his name? He was the guy who made the really fucking good Alice and Marissa dojins. What was his name? What was his name? Hinami. No, it wasn't that. I'm gonna find him right now. It was called Liar. I know it was. It was called Liar. No, it's Peculiar. We're getting sidetracked, but it's fine. It's Mitsunada. Mitsunada has this is the fucking absolutely prettiest. Oh my god, one of the prettiest fucking, look at this shit. You can't even see it yet. Yes. Mitsunada. Their art for these two characters is gorgeous. Oh my god, it's gorgeous. I love Liar. Liar is my favorite. This panel right here, this panel changed everything. I'm not even joking. There's no joke. There's no joke here. This panel changed everything. Everything. This was the turning point. This is when Streamer took his left turn at Albuquerque to Alice Avenue. This panel right here. This little extra bonus panel right at the end. This guy draws such a pretty Alice and a very nice Marissa too, but in general the Alice that he draws is incredible. She is very pretty and their dojins are very good. And I like their dojins a lot, and I went out of my way to read all of their individual dojins. So the shipping video took some time, because there were times where I just kind of spent more time reading dojins than I needed to, because I liked the individual artists' dojins. And Mitsunada was a big one. Granted, I couldn't remember his name, because I'm a fake fan. But, you know, yes, his Alice is very pretty. And just the situations he puts her in. There's nothing more attractive than a beautiful woman with blush. All right, this right here. This right here is illustrative of everything that I find attractive in a female. So, yeah. All right. Okay. Oh God, we're on Aya. But before I go to Aya, I have to pee. I gotta go pee again. I'll be right back. Whoa, here I go. Here I come. He's simply ready for more. Alright. I did it again, dude. I don't even know what keyboard shortcut does that, but I keep activating it on my fucking keyboard. Okay. Alright. Alright. Alright, ready? Target 10. Aya Shamemaru. She's always on the move. The chances of a human like you catching up to a Tengu is basically zero. Ergo, our only choice is to wait. Success or failure will depend on the newspaper she writes, the Boon Boon Maru newspaper. You have two choices. Either you do something that will attract the attention of a journalist, something you can actually accomplish with your own power, like opening a foot salon. What? 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 In the human village, it doesn't have to be a successful business, but you do need to cover your bases, advertising-wise, and maintain a good reputation. If the journalist comes, she'll approach you on her own and find some topic to talk to you about, and then we can keep going from there. Or you can go down a more difficult path, literally. I mean, you'll have to make a trip up to Yokai Mountain. Else, no matter what you do, this Tengu and her perchant for peculiar stories won't waste even a single second on you. Don't think you'll be able to head up to the mountain once you arrive, since the guard stationed at the mountain's foot will stop you and ask what business you have. I ordered a newspaper a month ago and I still haven't received any issues. It's nothing urgent, but the firewood in my house is running out really quickly, so no need to worry about the Tengu ganging up on you when you say that. They'll just laugh and tell you to go back home. Frankly, they'll just see what you told them as nothing more than a joke. Nothing much ever happens there after all. After that, what you need to do is wait. Wait for this little flame to spread throughout Yokai Mountain until it becomes a joke that everyone in the mountain knows and tells each other during break time. Eventually, when you return home one day, you'll see a journalist waiting for you, her brows furrowed. Then it's time to look at what happens next. You gotta turn Aya into a fucking laughing stock, and then she'll come to your house to chew you out. That's not how that works. 1, you didn't specify which newspaper it was. 2, every Crow Tengu writes their own papers, so like there's just no way that Aya would know you're talking about her unless she has an extreme inferiority complex. That's just not. This doesn't work. This doesn't work. This is wrong. This is incorrect. Like I said before, you shouldn't care what kind of impression you leave on a girl, but rather how deep it is. I'm sure Aya won't be forgetting you anytime soon, since almost every Yokai Mountain knows of the human who wanted newspapers to use as firewood. Okay. In fact, they turn into a whole slew of jokes at this point, like using her newspapers to clean the windows, to use as a doormat, to rip to shreds for the hell of it. That's not a joke, that's just mean-spirited. Some Kappa even turn it into a comedy sketch. They have 2 performances per week and the audience is always in stitches. What the fuck is this scenario? What? What do you mean? So if she doesn't find you, she wouldn't be a Tengu. If she can't find you, she wouldn't be a journalist. If she's here to pulverize you, she wouldn't be Aya Shimemaru. I can say that because of logic. First, she's one of the more well-respected yokai among Gensokyo, and her kind don't see humans as foods. So she won't debase herself with improper actions like attacking a human. Secondly, and more importantly, her biggest passion in life is news, and her biggest clientele are the humans of Gensokyo. Most of the fairies, yokai, and other beings in Gensokyo, unless they've studied the human village before, don't even know how to read. Yes, I know there's a certain idiot fairy that has been to school, but she can't read, but she's an exception. Most of the humans here also have been through school themselves, meaning there's still a degree of order and organization. And humans, weak as they are, also wish to gain various information from the yokai newspaper to help them survive. Basically, her newspaper are the most useful in the hands of humans. Then why? That's why she won't send a brick flying at you and fast track you for a meeting with God. Holding a grudge against a human would be like holding a grudge against her own business. But don't hope to become friends with her just like this. An impression can be good or bad because we'll use an event to correct the bad impression in the future. If the bad impression remains forever, then you'll only be dating her in your dreams. So please remember that you need an excuse that can not only settle her down, but also let you turn her impression of you around in the near future. No need to panic. It's fine even if she hates you for the time being. You need to learn to wait. Wait for your strategy to take effect. Chat. This is wrong. This doesn't make any sense. Now, I'm not one to dictate what makes sense right now in this situation, but this doesn't make any fucking sense. Friends. There are many types of humans in this world. One of them is called men, one of them is called demons, and the rest go under the girls category. There are cute girls. There are girls who act so tough you think they're boys. There are girls who freeze up when talking to anyone in person. There are girls with tongues so venomous you couldn't make a comeback if you tried. Hoping to understand everything about them is a fool's errand, but if you don't understand them at all, you may just chew you up and spit you out as you pine after them. Plus, we aren't even talking a human here, but a yokai. All the more reason you can't go in without doing your homework. She's a tengu, a journalist, and the chief editor of a newspaper, but above all, she's a girl. Oftentimes, when we feel too scared to approach the person we like, or when we're afraid of that consideration's because we've been blinded by their external position. For example, she's a teacher, so she'll never like me. She's the club president, so she's out of my league. She's the daughter of a rich family, so I could never be with her. But, they're all just excuses you gave yourself because you're too scared to act. I've told you before, there is no one in this world you can't conquer. With the right methods and strategies combined with a faithful and determined heart, any type of girl can be within your league. But because before being a teacher, before being the club president, before being the daughter of a rich family, there's still girls first and foremost. And that is our minimum, that is our strategy's minimum cost. Therefore, even if she angrily shows up at your door, even if she's a powerful tango, you can still calmly answer her. They do seem to burn remarkably well. But keep in mind, we are not one without a plan. If you declare that so boldly, you'll need a corresponding strategy to take down the flag. So even if it seems like you only use the newspaper as fuel on the surface, you still need to be smart about it. Is there anything about my newspapers that aren't to your satisfaction, human, or do you actually not understand the exquisite writing within? Just get out of my way first. I want to go in my house. Oh, then we can continue talking inside. Wait, did I hear that correctly? Did you just say you want to come in? Duh. Remember, you're still in the human village. As long as you aren't a total dumbass, she won't make things too difficult for you. Here, you need to hesitate for a bit. Make it seem like you don't want her in your house. But don't actually kick her out. If she lets you pass with a complicated expression and lets you open the front door, then you've won. Because what she'll see is the room full of Boom Boom Maru newspapers that took you around 2 months to prepare. What the heck? You actually have tons of newspapers. Whoa, this is the anniversary issue. Even I don't know where to find this anymore. Hey, you're annoying. If you heard it because of that joke, then I apologize, okay? I didn't know it would become such a big deal. That's it. You need to make it feel like the tables are turning. Now that's left is to plan the ultimate battle. So you need to piss her off, and then you need to decorate your home hoarder style with issues of her paper, because that doesn't make you seem fucking creepy or anything like that you have that many issues logged away. Nope, not even remotely creepy, bro. Lovers 2. You mean Lovers 1? Impact is something I've talked about a lot by now. To create the best, deepest impression possible so that you feel more three-dimensional. But please don't seek out such impact on purpose. That is to say, we will neither fight battles nor without preparation nor purpose. I'll drink to that. You need to have just the right reason for any action you take. No matter how extreme your actions are, it still needs to be reasonable. Who says actions that don't follow convention must be illogical? That's why to make your shocking actions logical, there's a couple points you need to remember. Firstly, everything you do, everything you say must be filtered by your brain. Number one taboo in front of the person you like is becoming a moron and just going with the flow, forgetting everything else. This is the number one thing to avoid during a strategy. Alright. Secondly, learn to adapt and change to suit the situation. Don't forget to give yourself some escape routes and never be let her guess your intentions. Otherwise, you can expect your rhythm to be thrown off all the time. Being human is a skill. So is interacting with others. Then I suppose conquering girls would be the most sophisticated skill in the whole universe. Back to the strategy. First, when she sees all the newspapers in your house, you'll, as you might have guessed, enter a nostalgia phase. Don't listen to the people who say Tengu don't read what they've written before. That's just them wanting to act cool in front of their friends and acquaintances. Remember, there's no journalist in this world who doesn't like positive feedback from their readers, especially the journalists who think they have remarkable penmanship. Aya is no exception. Feedback from a stranger like you, coupled with how you're a rather interesting human, will surely lead you to reading some past newspapers together, especially if you manage to get your hands on issues published before you were born, or the issues you read as a kid. Feel free to ask some of the questions you had about them too. All in all, what is this phase will do is fill in the gaps between the two of you through the conversation. Always remember that up until this point in the strategy, the two of you have spent less time together than any other couple on Earth. Thus, a conversation where the two of you talk about your shared hobbies becomes very important. So why did you fill your entire house with newspapers anyway? That's easy. You like newspapers. You like news. And your dream is to become a journalist or lead writer. However, a minor reason like that won't make her stop for your sake. And it absolutely will not end with you taking the position of her lover. As it stands right now, the best outcome is that she's over the moon, forgives all of your past transgressions, and leaves you with a please continue supporting my newspaper, never to be seen again. Is that the ending you want? No? Time to regain control of the wheel and steer the situation around. Alright, boys, here we go. It's time to spin it. Now that you mention it, winter will be coming soon. I guess I can burn these too. What? Why? You collected these because you liked them, didn't you? No, I like news and I like reading articles, but I don't like your newspaper. Frankly, your newspaper is very biased. It's written from your own perspective, a yokai perspective. The articles are so embellished that using a report as a standard, what you've written can only be considered a review. At this point, I'm sure you know what our goal is, but you still lack a few decisive words. Don't be scared of her losing her cool because, for one, what you said was the truth. But also because you've come this far, so she'll respond to your criticism in a positive light. Excuse me, in that case, do you know how to write one? Of course I do, but I'm unable to. What? Why not? Weren't you talking big just now? Because I'm not a Tengu. I'm just another unimportant human. Here in Gensokyo, I don't have the power to take down someone strong. I don't have the speed to discover news, and I certainly don't have the influence to incite anything. Compared to me, you're practically on a whole other level. Able to write your own newspaper, writing whatever pops into your mind, dumping in on everyone without a care in the world regardless of whether they're willing to read it. Maybe that's what decides what kind of life you have in Gensokyo. Yep, just keep going. If that's not enough, you can say a bit more. If only I could have the information you have. If only I could discover all these incidents, I'm sure that I could write a more fair and objective article than you. You know what? How about we make a bet? Give me the information you find and let me write an issue of the Boom Boom Modern newspaper. We'll let the court of public opinion decide. How about it? Now, after you've said that, the results may vary, but the chances of her agreeing to the bet out of anger are quite high. In any case, this will depend on how you express yourself. You can be easygoing, mocking, or completely indifferent. The goal is obvious. Have her agree to let you write an issue of the newspaper. If she agrees, you've reached your goal. The final event is right in front of you. It's all or nothing. Anyone else feel like this is a recipe for a toxic relationship? Condition. In order to reach Lovers 3, I must ask that you don't lay a hand on any girl aside from Aya. That is to say, you need to reach the stage without befriending anyone else. Oh, okay. So, if I want to improve my relationship with this girl I am constantly antagonizing, I can't have a single fucking friend. Gotcha. Alright. If I were to make a game, I think I would have Aya as the main character. Because in my opinion, Aya possesses the elements that constitutes a main character. I can discuss this in detail, but since this is a strategy guide, I'll leave it for now. In any case, what I want to tell you is that we'll be changing up our strategy this time. We've been here for a while now. Of all the strategies I've introduced to you, effect and cause, abandonment play, they're all strategies where you control the rhythm yourself, where you act as the core and resolve a certain problem together. To put it another way, your own feelings remain constant throughout, objectively speaking. You're already complete the very first time you showed her before her. And eventually, you make her like you. But this time, I'll introduce another special strategy, the role reversal strategy. But what does it mean? It means my bottle's empty. Basically, it means you can't keep optimistically climbing up like you had done in previous stages. Turn your enthusiasm for getting closer into her into one where you need to change. Become a character full of negativity and make her want to change you in order to complete the strategy. In other words, you become the target for her to conquer. What are the pros and cons of this strategy? This is the question that goes back to the essence of the word love. I brought this up countless times. What exactly is a signal of the purest love? The answer is a state of mind where the thoughts are completely occupied by him or her. That is, by the time you notice, you realize you can't stop thinking about someone. That is the signal of love. You'll notice that the two strategies we used before, indirectly or directly, lead. Make it so that the other person's heart can't help but keep thinking about someone else. The role reversal strategy that we'll employ this time is mostly the same thing, essence and logic. Okay, let's return to Aya Shimemaru. The two of you are beginning to write the new issue. I'm sure you know how to provoke or otherwise get her to agree to have you to be the lead writer for this issue, just as I'm sure you'll be able to show her how great a writer you are. This shouldn't be too hard for an avid writer like you, but if it is too hard, come find me. I can teach you how to write. Also, let me tell you that Aya's writing doesn't really amount to much. A bit of training will easily see you surpassing her. Then, as the two of you work together, you'll soon realize one of us will go out and take photos, the other person will write an article based on these photos. It's not a realistic plan of action. That is because your viewpoint, style, and opinions differ. Namely, if the person doing the writing wasn't there himself, it becomes that much harder to write a fair and unbiased report. I'm sure that doesn't need to be said. You can bring it up after ripping your first 10 drafts to shreds and holding your head in frustration. Though it's just as likely that she, who has been sitting there cross-legged and fanning herself the entire time, will bring it up. No matter the case, the two of you who treat journalism as a hobby and job respectively will be on the same page here. Ugh, this isn't going to work. What I envision is nothing like I've written. Well, you were the one who wanted to write so badly. What now? Well, if I could be there in person somehow. Oh, sure, follow me. I'll take you around and see if there's anything you can write about. If all else fails, I can just beat up a couple fairies or steal Corindo's safe. Then you'll have something to write about. No, 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 absolutely not. I refuse to leave the human village. Huh? Why? Because it's dangerous. And here is where the roles are officially swapped. Your character setting, as per Aya's understanding, has gone from person bad-mouthing me to the human that loves news and collects my newspaper to the human that despises my articles and declared he'll write his own, and finally to the human who loves writing yet is constrained by his natural born weakness and fear of danger, so he refuses to leave the human village. The more complicated this is, the more advantageous it is for you. And in this strategy, the more you need a helping hand, the more important you'll be to Aya, and the less likely she is to abandon you. Trust me, Aya may be a very speedy yokai who loves running around and takes pride in never being tired from doing so, but she possesses one of the rarer characteristics in Gensokyo, responsibility. She's a journalist, but did she start her own newspaper simply because she loves writing articles? Her newspaper has been used to prop up tables, clean windows, wrap fragile objects, and so much more by who knows how many people. Do you think she doesn't know that? Her articles and their blunt style of writing have drawn the ire of many yokai, yet she chooses to bear with it. Why do you think that is? I think regardless of what the actual reason is, I'm sure it's the same reason she can't just abandon you like this. So you're just going to give up. Huh? You love reporting, don't you? You said you'd write an article better than me, didn't you? And you're just going to give the first obstacle you encounter. You may have angered her. You, who has the ability to, yet are too scared to try to take risks, may have angered her. All this time, as a fellow passionate journalist, everything she had to bear, had to suffer through, are beyond even your wildest imagination. Yet here you are, giving up before you've even started. That's simply not something she can accept. Do not find an excuse here. You already shown her your negativity. If you express any more, this yokai could lose hope in you and become disinterested entirely. So here's what you should do. I don't want to give up either. Shout. Throw your pen. Let out the dissatisfaction and frustration you've kept sealed in your heart all this time. Then don't say anything else. Aya isn't the type of girl to let silence last for too long. She's quite straightforward in that regard. I don't know what she'll say, but I'm confident it'll be something to encourage you. I promised you an issue, and I never go back on my word. I'll protect you no matter what happens. Something like that, I bet. Obviously, immediately nodding your head with the widest grin on your face would make it seem like you have some screws loose, so just silently give her your approval. This interesting strategy is far from over. I didn't think Aya's would be this fucking long. Well, okay. The role reversal strategy will clue the other person in on how to conquer you to a certain degree. The basic reasoning behind it is still the subject's subconscious and imagination at play. Put simply, it makes the other person think of you around the clock. The kind of love I've had in mind, in physical terms, is basically a state of mind where the mind is occupied by the opposite sex. Note that I didn't say the opposite sex you like, because there's still a key step in between. Change. So what is happening here exactly? Humans will not fall in love with a stranger for no reason. Even in what is called love at first sight, or so-called the public opinion strategy, your information and signals will definitely be understood and considered by her. To women, love is actually a type of affirmation towards a man, and this affirmation contains many considerations and comparisons of objective elements. Yes, the world does have yanderes and the like who, on the surface, seem to like someone completely illogically. However, this love was also certainly caused by some sort of consideration of the other person. Okay. Thinking before we act is a trait us humans have. This includes every step in whatever form of loves are out there. The reason we have responsible love and irresponsible love is simply due to a difference in the width of depth of consideration. Why am I talking about considerations? Because what I mentioned before, one's subconscious and imagination, is what leads the other person to make their considerations about the whole. The more you think about a person, the more complete these considerations are. The closer your relationships are, the other person will be. The intimacy you get when you approach a person while weighing the pros and cons, being as genuine as possible, is when you approach a person casually with no real interest and worlds apart. The difference is the level of importance. I read that and didn't understand a word of it. That's good. When you successfully occupy the other person's mind, all that's left is to transform those thoughts into consideration in benefit of love. For example, let's say to her you were just a guy who knows how to cook. So through transformation, you need to make her think of you as a guy who I want to cook the dishes I love. That's the thought process of the ones who are in love. Okay, that's enough talk. Let's go back to Aya Shimemaru. The role reversal strategy is effective because Aya is a person of action and she'll always have your back, which is to say, when you give up the offensive, she'll subconsciously fill in the role of her own accord, but then there's a problem. How do we do this transformation? Think about it. What do you want to get your hands on a girl? Well, first and foremost, it's because there's some merit to her that you care about, whether it's her face, her chest, or her face. Whatever it is something you care about. So you start to act. Since you've let Aya go on the offensive, you can't just keep playing the villain. You need to have genuine qualities. Something worthy of her attention. Something for her to like about you. Honestly, what romance isn't like that? If you're an ill-mannered, rude, and uncouth person, all the strategies in the world won't get any but the most extreme of girls to like you. Which, by the way, these couples do exist, because villains attract villains, and birds of a feather flock together. Although, what I despise here are the people themselves and not the love they share. Get what I'm saying? Well, in any case, you need to be prepared to try to like your life depends on it. You can still cheat a little bit, though. Ever since your argument with her, Aya's interest in you will more than likely diminish quite a bit. After all, it's not like she has a ton of free time. If she doesn't put something together and type out a few words by the end of the month, her readers won't be pleased. The few readers she has anyways. She probably knows that as a writer herself. This is the time to act. When she's not around, pack your bags, take some cash, and head towards Yokai Mountain. Interlude 3, which is not what we're gonna read, because we have reached the conclusion of today's part. And I need to free up storage space. Well, chat, what a 4 hours this has been. I gotta say, there's still more. We will finish this next week. I promise. Yes. But so far, some of this stuff is like hilarious and how stupid it is, but then some of it is like kind of good, kind of decent writing, you know, but some of it is really stupid. But I'm enjoying it. I'm having a good time. I hope you are too. So we're gonna finish this next week. You'll get the thrilling conclusion with a couple more characters, and I'm sure it'll be great because yes, how could it not be great? It's been so great so far. So be prepared for next week when we see the epic conclusion of the do's and don'ts of dating various girls in Gensokyo. See you then.